Hokage hundreds of millions of rewards. Chapter 281-300. Chapter 281 _ intense thrill. Extreme method. In fantasy. Tokiyu looked at Sasuke's look of anticipation and said, "If you want to know if it's true or not, you'll find out later." Voice fell, and the real Tokiyu stopped the operation of chakra. And Sasuke in the illusion saw Naruto, Karen, Itachi and others slowly disappearing, and the whole world was collapsing. After Tokiha's figure disappeared, Sasuke felt that his eyes were dark. Next second. When Sasuke opened his eyes, he had returned to reality. At this time, there is not a trace of mess here, obviously there is no battle that has been experienced. Moreover, the sun is still hanging high. In other words, he spent so long in the illusion, in fact, he only spent a moment in reality. This is the power of demonic illusion. Not only can the caster control everything in the illusion, but even the flow of time can be changed. Of course, it has to be a highly accomplished demonic illusion. After returning to reality, Sasuke was aware of the fatigue from his body, as if he had just gone through the middle of a battle. Why Sasuke made sure of one thing. That is what Tokiyu said is true, because his current mental damage is a real reality. Sasuke originally wanted to try to start open black lens bracket Mangekyo Sharingan close black lens bracket, but was stopped by Tokiha. Take a break for a while. If it is forcibly turned on in your current state, it will cause a great load on your eyes, and even your body will be affected. I see. Sasuke nodded, then sat down according to Shiyu's instructions. Breathe. Sasuke's spirit also improved a little after the simple treatment by Tokiyu, the medical master. Immediately after, Sasuke closed his eyes again for about half an hour before opening his eyes. At this moment, Sasuke can't wait. Because he has stored in his mind the memory of opening open black lens bracket Mangekyo Sharingan close black lens bracket, which was left when he woke up. Sasuke looked at Tokiha. Knowing the look in the latter's eyes, Shiyu nodded. After getting permission from Tokiha, Sasuke immediately stimulated the nerves to create a special chakra according to the memory in his mind. When this chakra touches the nerve cells that control the eyeball, it causes the pupil to change. Next second, I saw that Sasuke's dark pupils instantly changed to open black lens bracket 3 Tomo Sharingan close black lens bracket, but when the chakra was strengthened, open black lens bracket 3 Tomo Sharingan close black lens bracket changed again. Eventually it evolved into a pattern of 6-pointed star. No doubt that this is Sasuke's Mangekyo Sharingan. After opening it, Sasuke couldn't help but use his pheasant sword as a mirror to take a look at his Mangekyo. Looking at the pattern of the 6-pointed star, Sasuke's heart was settled. Then a purple chakra began to flow out of his body, and finally a pair of sternums condensed around him. This is the form of open black lens bracket Susanoo close black lens bracket. Seeing this scene, Sasuke completely believed this fact. If the change of the eye pattern can be deceiving, this open black lens bracket Susanoo close black lens bracket is not. Shiyu, I really woke up, Mangekyo blood wheel eyes. Sasuke was extremely excited between the words, and looked at Tokiyu with gratitude. He knows that without Shiyu, he doesn't even know if he can awaken Mangekyo Sharingan, because he doesn't even know the method of awakening Mangekyo Sharingan, and even now that he has awakened, he still doesn't understand although he doesn't know the specific method. But with his cleverness, it is natural to catch. Got some information. Shiyu, does this Mangekyo Sharingan awakening method require extreme stimulation? Looks like you've guessed it. Shiyu responded with a sound, and then said, that's true. Whether it's the activation of Sharingan or the awakening of Mangekyo, strong stimulation is inseparable. It's like when you first awakened Sharingan to protect Naruto, because the strong will in your mind made you completely master this pupil technique in battle. Of course, maybe your Sharingan was opened as early as 8 years ago. 8 years ago. Sasuke murmured, and a bloody scene flashed in his mind. were dead bodies all over the place. However, this is just my guess. Because in order to awaken Sharingan, in addition to receiving strong mental stimulation, it is also necessary to maintain a certain sanity under such stimulation. Only at this time can you master this power. Hearing Shiyu's analysis, Sasuke also felt that it was reasonable. On that night 8 years ago, there was only fear in his heart, so he could still keep his senses. It is also because of this reason that Sasuke did not know that he had awakened the power of Sharingan. Because he was afraid that the power of Rang would disappear in a flash, he could not grasp it. But when fighting Shiro, he was not afraid, and he fought to protect Naruto. After some comparison, Sasuke felt that what Tokiyu said was very reasonable. But at the same time, doubts arose in his heart. Facing Shiyu, he didn't have the nerve to ask. Shiyu, how did you know so clearly? Because when I awakened Sharingan, it was to protect Naruto and Iruka, sensei, and when I started Mangekyo, I dreamed that my parents died in the defense battle of Kyubi, 9 Tails, attacking Konoha. So it is. Sasuke murmured suddenly, and then said, that's why you created the picture of your own death and stimulated me. I think the awakening Mangekyo Sharingan needs stronger stimulation, pictures of close relatives or the tragic death of relatives. Of course, it's only a condition. Whether you can succeed or not depends on yourself. If you gave up revenge for me and saved Naruto at that time, then you probably wouldn't be able to awaken Mangekyo Sharingan. Hearing this, Sasuke's doubts were also answered. Why did Itachi cast open black lens bracket Tsukuyomi close black lens bracket on himself twice but he couldn't awaken open black lens bracket Mangekyo Sharingan close black lens bracket if the first time was because he hadn't awakened open black lens bracket Sharingan close black lens bracket and couldn't awaken open black lens bracket Mangekyo close black lens bracket, it can be said in the past. But the second time, you must know that at that time he already had double Tomo Sharingan but he still didn't. Only when he knew this moment did he understand. It turned out that although he was strongly stimulated at the time, he only had fear in his heart and could not resist. As for wanting revenge afterwards, it is useless. Similarly, Sasuke finally understands why the Uchiha family can open Sharingan relatively many people. But open black lens bracket Mangekyo close black lens bracket is the reason why it is rare. It turns out that there is such a saying in this. As soon as I think about it, Sasuke admires Tokiyu more and more. He didn't expect that Shiyu would be able to discover the secret of open black lens bracket Sharingan close black lens bracket S awakening, which probably not many people in the Uchiha clan, who have been passed down for a long time, know about it. Moreover, even if you know, it is impossible to tell the younger generation. Because, this method is too extreme. Chapter 282-Izanagi. Izanami. Confirming that he has successfully awakened Mangekyo Sharingan, Sasuke is undoubtedly in a very good mood. At the same time, he also thought about Tokiha confirming one thing about Itachi. Shiyu, is Itachi really as strong in reality as in fantasy? To Sasuke's question, Tokiyu only gave a 4-word answer. Only strong and not weak. To avoid making Sasuke suspicious, Tokiha didn't let Itachi show complete Susanoo. Of course, Itachi can't do it in reality. Secondly, the 10-fist sword, and 8 sides, Tokiyu in Itachi's Susanoo can't be transformed. Because when he came to this world, he had never seen Itachi show. If it is illusion, it is difficult to explain. Of course, the Itachi in reality also has places where it is not as good as in the illusion, such as physical advantages. In reality, Itachi is seriously ill and can't fight for a long time. Then do you think I can beat him Itachi now? It's hard to say. Shiyu gave an ambiguous reply, and then said, I have never experienced the peak strength of Itachi, so it is difficult to make a judgment. However, at least he must be stronger than you now. And it is. Even the current Sasuke awakened open black lens bracket Mangekyo Sharingan close black lens bracket, but the use of these eyes is not pure. Moreover, he doesn't have the unique abilities of the two masters open black lens bracket Mangekyo close black lens bracket. Besides, Itachi's talent itself is stronger than Sasuke's. Whether it is combat experience or taijutsu, ninjutsu is above Sasuke. Not to mention Itachi's best demonic illusion. Not only that, Itachi also mastered Izanami and other forbidden techniques. As for whether the latter has master Izanaki is unknown. However, Shiyu is not worried about these. Because Itachi would not kill Sasuke at all he did was the righteousness in his heart, and the rest was Sasuke's love. Better than me. Seeing Sasuke muttering, Tokyu said. At least for now. You have just awakened Mangekyo Sharingan, and you haven't been able to acquire the abilities attached to Master's two eyes. I can't help you with this, you can only discover it yourself. Although Tokyu knew what abilities Sasuke would awaken, he obviously couldn't say it directly. Otherwise, it's really a profit. That would obviously lead to countless problems, and it was not the result he wanted to see. So, I suggest that you'd better familiarize yourself with the abilities of open black lens bracket Mangekyo Sharingan close black lens bracket before you hit the road. Well, I see. Sasuke nodded, without any comments. But in the next second, another doubt arose in his heart. That's right, Shiyu. It's true to see Rinnegan in a fantasy just now. Nature is true. After hearing the yes answer, Sasuke continued to ask. You've seen them. Fighted once. Shiyu responded with a sound, and then said, didn't I tell you before that Rinnegan has only appeared twice in this world? The first one is the originator of the ninja world, 6 Paths Immortals, and the second one is them. Second of them. Sasuke, who was talking about it, looked puzzled. Isn't Shiyu's words inconsistent? He said it was the second one, and said them again and again. Seeing Sasuke showing such an expression, he said. If I hadn't played against them, I wouldn't have known that those 6 were not human at all. Not human. Yes, they are manipulative puppets. Shiyu replied and explained, the reason why they look like ordinary people is because their flesh and blood still exist. Their bodies should have undergone special treatment, plus they have been nurtured by chakra all year round, making them endlessly flesh and blood, making people mistakenly think that they are normal people who have been transformed. So it is. Sasuke murmured, and asked confirmingly, Shiyu, is Rinnegan really as strong as it appears in fantasy? Naturally. Then you're not even his opponent. This is undoubtedly Sasuke's most relevant issue. In his opinion, if even Tokyu is not a match for Rinnegan. In today's world, it's just that. There's no way to find a second person. Although I haven't fought him with all my strength, it's a good idea to beat him. Not a problem. After receiving such an answer, Sasuke's heart finally fell. Because if even Tokyu is not the opponent of that Rinnegan person, then if Akatsuki organizes to capture Kyuubi, Nine Tails, in the future, then the ending in the fantasy will have a high probability to become a reality. Okay, let's see how Naruto and the others are progressing in their cultivation. Sasuke nodded, and followed Tokyu back to the same place. It was less than an hour before and after they left here, so Naruto and Shigego's cultivation didn't change much. Instead, Karen brought a pile of hot food. This made Naruto, who was cultivating, couldn't help swallowing, and when he noticed Naruto's change, Shiyu immediately said, Naruto, if you want to learn something, just hold it back for me. Remember, if you want to integrate yourself with nature, you must be mindful and abandon all distractions. That's right, but Karen actually brought a little less food. If you let Naruto join, it won't be enough. So, Shiyu will find an excuse by the way, and use time to hone Naruto's impatience. Otherwise, even cultivating next to Chongo, it would be impossible to achieve something in a short period of time. However, this kind of comprehension of the energy of nature cannot be carried out in illusion. Reality is reality, and it is a little different from fantasy. In the spiritual world of illusion, one can only cultivate one's own abilities. And it has to be mental ability. For the next 3 days, Sasuke is starting to get acquainted with his new pupil technique, trying to discover the ability of open black lens bracket Mengekyo close black lens bracket before Tokyu leaves. And under the guidance of Tokyu, Shigego can basically master the method of balance, so that he can integrate with nature. Other words, the current Chongo will not go berserk at every turn. Of course, if he doesn't go berserk under any circumstances now, he still needs to go through a long period of practice to find the perfect balance. Or learn Sage Mode. However, this result has already made Shigego very excited. While excited, Shigego was very shocked. He never thought that Shiyu really had such a skill. Because of this, he is extremely grateful to Tokyu, the only person in this world that he recognizes as Kimimaro, because the latter is his only friend. Whenever he goes berserk, he stops him. So, he trusts Kimimaro from the bottom of his heart. But now Tokyu has helped him completely solve the problem of his body, so that he can live like a normal person. Moreover, he can make better use of this power. Just this one thing gave to Shiyu an incomparable position in his heart. Shiyu, thank you. I teach you the method also has my purpose, you don't have to do this. Shiyu replied politely, but he was actually testing Shigego to see if this guy had the aptitude to become his own little brother. No matter what. What is your purpose, but you have reborn me, and you are my benefactor. If you really want to thank me, then you should have no opinion on what we agreed on before. Shiyu rode. You have the final say, I will listen to you. At this moment, Shigego's attitude changed 180 degrees. It's no wonder that he would be like this. Shiyu had the kindness of rebuilding him, this is a great kindness. Don't ask him to do something, even if it costs his life. The sound of the system sounded slowly. Ding! Collect, Sage Body, Brother mission completed. Hearing this prompt from the system, Shiyu knew that the first task of unlocking the 6th level reward had been completed. And after Chongo's matter was resolved, Naruto's cultivation was just on the right track. After 3 days of practice, Naruto can already condense a trace of Sage Art Chakra, although the appearance is a bit ugly, but this is inevitable. After all, Naruto doesn't have the talent of pervert like Shiyu, so he can only progress gradually. But here we can see that Naruto does have talent in this area. However, the cultivation of this open black lens bracket Sage Mode close black lens bracket is not something that can be learned in a short time. Therefore, Shiyu plans to take Naruto back to Konoha first. Because, the trip to open black lens bracket Ryochi Cave close black lens bracket is also ready. Feilu reminds you, there are 3 things to do when reading. Chapter 283 Karen's Confession. Ayame's mind. What, you're not with us? Karen was the first to exclaim when she learned that Tokyu was going back to Konoha. Karen's doubts had just settled, and before Tokyu could answer, Naruto spoke first. Is there any problem? The 3 of you were originally temporary teammates Tokyu recruited for Sasuke, that's all. I don't care what temporary or not, me. I just want to be with Shiyu. When Karen said this, everyone was surprised. Although they had known that Karen fell in love with Tokyu during the past few days of getting along, they didn't expect the latter to be so bold. Although Karen is not as straightforward as she says, everyone knows the metaphor in her words. Just like a public confession, there is no woman's modesty at all. Not only that. Talking, Karen actually grabbed Tokyu's big hand, and in that instant, Tokyu could feel the softness of Karen's half of the mountain. It's impossible not to like this kind of feeling. After all, Shiyu is not some kind of saint who can sit still. Even before he crossed over, he was just a teenager in his early 20s. Seeing this, Shueyu said involuntarily. Karen, you are too shameless. HMPH, I want you to take care of it. Seeing that Shuiyu and Karen started bickering again, Shiyu didn't withdraw, and could only speak up by himself. After a lot of bitterness, he finally persuaded Karen to follow Sasuke temporarily. When it was time to separate, Shiyu said, "Sasuke, remember what I said to you? I'll confirm it myself." Sasuke responded with a sound, and then said, "If it is as you guessed, I will find the truth of the year from him." In Sasuke's mouth. It's none other than Itachi. After awakening open black lens bracket Mangekyo Sharingan close black lens bracket, Tokiyu gave Sasuke some reminders. That's why open black lens bracket Itachi close black lens bracket does everything possible to make him hate himself, even at the expense of using open black lens bracket Tsukuyomi close black lens bracket twice. You must know that Itachi doing this may awaken Sasuke's Sharingan, and even open Mangekyo Sharingan. If the latter really disdains him, why let Sasuke become stronger in disguise is a question worth thinking about. Secondly, why did the brother who once loved him so much become a murderer in an instant? There is no guarantee that there will be no such thing. What a secret! The conversation between Shiyu and Sasuke left everyone at a loss. Karen was indifferent, she only had Tokiyu in her eyes. But Naruto couldn't help it and said, "I said Tokiyu, what are you and Sasuke talking about?" "Nothing." Shiyu responded, then glanced at everyone, and said, "That's it, keep in touch." Sasuke nodded without saying goodbye. Seeing this, Shiyu smiled at everyone, and then put his hand on Naruto's shoulder. Next second, the two disappeared in the eyes of everyone, as if they had never appeared before. Sasuke was not surprised by this, because he had become accustomed to it, and in the past 3 years, every time Tokiyu came to see him, he was elusive. But Karen, Suzuki and Shigego are seeing each other for the first time. Although they have heard of Tokiyuke, Hiraishin's art, they have never seen it with their own eyes. Today, they undoubtedly saw it. It is also because of this that they once again understood the power of Shiyu. In their eyes, Shiyu has surpassed Orochimaru. In their hearts, Tokiha's status is far from Orochimaru's. With the departure of Tokiha and Naruto, Sasuke's eye, Suzuki, Karen, and Shigego 3 briefly explained the purpose of the trip. As on the way. At the same time, Yu and Naruto also returned to Konoha, but the first thing they did when they came back was not to report to the Hokage office. Instead, I went to open black lens bracket Ichiraku Noodle House close black lens bracket. When I saw Tokiha and Naruto appear, Uncle Ichiraku said, "Yo, it's Tokiyu and Naruto. I haven't seen you for half a month, are you on a mission?" Shiyu nodded, and Naruto said, "So, Shiyu and I are here to visit when we come back." That feeling is good, the first bowl is free. Uncle Ichiraku arrives. "Thank you." Shiyu made a polite sound, but did not refuse, because that would seem unfamiliar. Welcome, you are our regular customers." Ayame on the side spoke up. Hearing this, Shiyu joked. "I said Sister Ayame, you are too old, it's time to find someone." "You little guy, you actually made fun of me." Ayame shattered slightly, but didn't mean to be angry. "First of all, I'm no longer young, and I'll be 16 in a while. Secondly, I think Uncle Ichiraku wants to hold his grandson, otherwise, Tenten wouldn't be so happy to see us." Words, Uncle Ichiraku couldn't help but give him a thumbs up. In fact, he has said this to Ayame no less than hundreds of times, but it is useless. The end, we can only go with the flow. Seeing Tokiyu and his father winking, Ayame, who noticed it, said, "Brother Shiyu. Since you said that you are not too young, then I will choose you." When Ayame said this, several people were stunned. Even Shiyu was no exception. He originally only wanted to make fun of the latter, but he never thought that the latter would take advantage of it. After being stunned for a moment, Shiyuki said with a smile, "Although I don't mind, Uncle Ichiraku probably won't agree. How come? As the saying goes, the female junior holds gold bricks, and the sixth female college holds 2 bricks. Ayame said with a smile on his face. Hearing Ayame's words, Shiyu was actually very happy in his heart. To beautiful women, he is naturally open to anyone who comes. However, everyone naturally treats it as a joke, even Tokyo is no exception. Because she has little contact with Ayame, except for the occasional noodle restaurant. The closest contact is undoubtedly the last time she was cooked. After the kidnapping, Shiyu and his party of 3 went to rescue her. It was also because of that incident that the relationship between the two became so familiar. So, when Shiyu teased her just now, the latter didn't mean to be angry. But as for what Ayame is thinking now, no one knows. At least so far, Tokyo has seen too many clues. I only know that the latter likes him very much, but I can't tell what kind of. Like. He used to be inclined towards siblings, but today he is suddenly inclined to another possibility. After a lot of fun and laughter, Tokyo and the 2 who finished eating the noodles also headed towards the Hokage building. Now that I'm back, at least I'm going to report to Tsunade. Chapter 284 Ino's Invitation. Sakura's Boudoir. Hokage Office. Tsunade also had a smile on his face when he saw Tokiha and Naruto returning. It's all done. It's done. Hearing Shiyu's response, Tsunade said, then take a good rest these few days. I guess Jiraiya will be back in a few days. Oh, yes. Go and see Kakashi. The guide didn't say anything on the surface, but I could hear a hint of concern in his words. Got it. Tokyo nodded, and after a few simple conversations with Tsunade, he left with Naruto. Looking at the boy who disappeared into Hokage's office, Tsunade looked thoughtful. Is he really just a teenager less than 16 years old? Been in contact with Shiyu for so long, she felt more and more that Shiyu's maturity was completely inconsistent with his age. Because of this, Tsunade's mind couldn't help but have an unprecedented thought. But the next second the idea was immediately killed by it. What am I thinking? Although his character is mature and stable, he is still a child after all, and I. At this point, Tsunade also hesitated. Got up and looked out the window, my rolling eyes didn't know what I was thinking. After leaving the Hokage building, Shiyu and Naruto separated. It's getting late today. And they also just came back from the North Secret House and had a good rest, so they decided to visit Kakashi early tomorrow morning. However, on the way home Tokiha met Sakura and Ino, who seemed to have just finished the study content designated by Tsunade. After Ino found out that Sakura and Tsunade had learned medical ninjutsu, he also saved his face and let Sakura teach him. Later, Shiyu and Tsunade mentioned it by the way, and the 2 of them studied with Tsunade together. That you didn't show up, the 2 basically wouldn't be fighting each other. But if Shiyu appeared, it would be incredible, just like now. The moment they saw Shiyu, the originally listless pretty face instantly shone brightly. Can't wait to go back and do a good makeup look and show my best side in front of Shiyu. Time feather. Time feather. The 2 called out in unison, and after trotting, Shiyu became stronger, and 2 pairs of beautiful eyes fell directly on Shiyu's body. Holding one of Shiyu's arms alone is no different from competing for favor. Shiyu felt the softness from the mountains halfway between the 2 of them, and knew that the 2 girls are now mature enough to be picked. However, some comparison. Sakura is really small, no wonder Ino 1010 calls her, airport. However, compared to them, Shiyu felt that he should take down open black lens bracket Kurenai Yuhi close black lens bracket and open black lens bracket Enko close black lens bracket first, otherwise the mature flowers will wither over time. Shiyu, you just came back, right? Seeing Shiyu nodding, Ino asked again, you haven't eaten yet, have you? I just ate a bowl of noodles, one filled my stomach. How can you be full of noodles? Ino responded and said immediately, why don't you go to my house for dinner? My mother just braised pig's trotters today, but it's delicious. Hearing Ino's diligence, Sakura is not far behind. What's so good about braised pig's trotters? My dad's chan beef is the best. Shiyu, let's go to my house. Go to my house. Ino hurriedly said. My house. Sakura replied back. Quote. Just as the two were arguing, a word suddenly came out of Shiyu's mouth. Out. Stop. The two women who heard the words were stunned for a moment, and immediately quieted down. In order not to disappoint the two of you, I have adopted a compromise. You two guess the boxing, whoever wins today, I will go to whose house for dinner. Don't be discouraged by the loser, I'll go tomorrow. As for whether Ino's braised pig's trotter is delicious, or Sakura's chan beef is better, you can only know if you taste it. Look how it is. Shiyu's remarks directly confused the two who were jealous, but they didn't really mean it. But now, Shiyu's high-level officials have compared the food to which one is better, and in disguise, it has resolved a war of husbandry. Although reluctant to do so, they were helpless. Because this is undoubtedly the best way at the moment, seeing whose food is more suitable for Shiyu's appetite. As the saying goes, if you want to keep a man's heart, you must first keep his stomach. I agree. I don't mind either. After the two responded to Shiyu's question, they started guessing boxing under the witness of Shiyu. Today's luck seems to be on Sakura's side. I won. Huh. Ino snorted coldly, and then said, what if you win? If your family's food is not up to Shiyu's appetite, it will be miserable. Although a little unwilling, Ino could only sneer. After all, this was something they promised Shiyu face to face, and she naturally couldn't go back on it. Of course, the most important thing is that Shiyu will still go back to her house for dinner tomorrow, but it's just a day late. Good food is not afraid of being late, she believed this sentence. It was as if she had a unique advantage over Sakura in her figure, especially the pair of towering mountains. Among the younger generation, there are few people who can fight against it. Next. Yu was under Ino's helpless gaze and followed Sakura away. After a while, Sakura pointed to a house and said softly, here, this is my home. Looking at the house in front of him, Shiyu was also full of thoughts, because this was the first time he had visited Sakura's house. Creep. As the door was opened, a woman's figure also came into Shiyu's eyes. That is an ordinary-looking middle-aged woman, neither beautiful nor ugly. With a medium appearance, it cannot be compared with beautiful women like open black lens bracket Uzumaki Kushina close black lens bracket and open black lens bracket Uchiha Makoto close black lens bracket. Sakura, come back. Sakura's mother, who was talking, saw Shiyu and couldn't help but ask, Sakura, who is this? Ah, he was my former classmate at the ninja school, and we also performed missions together later. Also, I was able to worship under Master Tsunade's door, thanks to his help. Hearing Sakura's words, Mom Sakura's gaze towards Tokyo changed a little. Obviously, he heard Sakura mention this too. The past, she also told Sakura to let her take Shiyu to the house for a meal and thank them. But at that time, Sakura obviously didn't have this mental preparation, so it has been delayed until now. Bringing a boy home, there is obviously a deep meaning in it. You or Shiyu? Hello auntie. Seeing Sakura's mother's question, Shiyu also responded politely. Okay, don't stand here, let's go into the house and do it. Sakura's mother led Shiyu into the house, and Sakura immediately told Sakura's father about the chan beef. So, the couple fiddled around in the kitchen. As for Sakura, after a lot of fuss, the shy Shiyu invited Shiyu into his boudoir. Chapter 285 Izuki Yugao. Jealous Kurenai Yuhi. Sakura's boudoir is extremely clean and tidy. Nothing else, Sakura should have tidied up before letting Tokyo in. Otherwise, even a girl's boudoir can't be so neat and tidy that people can't pick out the slightest fault. If there is only one possibility. That is, cleanliness. However, the fact that Sakura can enter her boudoir with a boy undoubtedly shows the status of Shiyu in her heart. And Sakura's father and Sakura's mother were naturally happy when they saw Sakura bringing a boy home for the first time, so they were naturally a little more diligent in doing things and cooking. Although Sakura is not yet old enough to talk about marriage, falling in love is essential. As a ninja, I have less personal time than ordinary people. If I can't fall in love in advance, I guess I can only have a blind date in the future. This is obviously not what they want to see. Now that Sakura is almost 16 years old, they won't interfere at this age. As long as the object is good, they are happy to see it. People who become parents always want to have grandchildren when they reach a certain age. Especially the boy that Sakura brought back, they are quite satisfied, because Konoha where Tokiyu is in can be regarded as famous. This is also the reason why when they see Shiyu coming to the house, there will be surprises on their faces, and they are obviously very satisfied with Shiyu. If Sakura and Shiyu can achieve good things in the future, they will definitely not stop them. Parents are like this, they all like their daughter to marry someone who is capable. In this way, they can worry less in the future. In Sakura's boudoir, Tokiyu noticed the latter's growing shyness. Moreover, sometimes it seems to be covering up something. At that time, when Yu secretly turned on the ability of Byakugan to observe, he found something strange. It turned out that there was a picture book hidden in Sakura's futon, almost all of Toki's portraits on it. This is probably the legendary secret love. In this regard, a smile flashed in Shiyu's heart. He knew that as long as nothing happened, Sakura had basically won. As for when to pick, it is natural to find a good time, but it is obviously not right now. After all, other people's parents are still there. After a while, following Sakura's mother's cry, Shiyu and Sakura left the boudoir. At the dinner table, Sakura's parents looked at Shiyu with kind eyes, nodded from time to time, and kept serving Shiyu. Completely ignoring their daughter. This meal, Shiyu was very comfortable. Especially the open black lens bracket chan beef made by Dad Sakura is a must. Shiyu is full of praise. Why Dad Sakura also asked Shiyu to come here often when he has time. Toshiyu did not refuse this. Hearing the conversation between the two made Sakura very happy. He was still a little worried about whether his parents would dislike Shiyu, but now it seems that he is superfluous. After dinner, Tokiha left when Sakura saw him off, just when Tokiwa was planning to go home and have a good night's sleep. But he met someone he knew well. Konoha's demonic illusion powerhouse, Kurenai Yuhi. Seeing this, Tokiyu stepped forward to say hello. Mr. Yuhi, what a coincidence. It's quite a coincidence. Kurenai Yuhi gave a cold reply, and then said, I was thinking why you rarely come to my house for dinner these days. It turned out to be. There are other places to eat. No doubt that Kurenai Yuhi's tone has a hint of jealousy. This is something that Tokiyu didn't expect, and even Kurenai Yuhi himself didn't expect that he would be like this. There was nothing wrong with her words, but her tone and expression betrayed her. Play hard to catch. It's 36 tricks to flirt with girls, and now the effect is really right. Some time ago, I seldom went to Kurenai Yuhi's house for a meal, and recently I went out to perform tasks for half a month. Today, I just came back to Sakura's house for dinner and happened to be bumped into by him. All kinds of factors put together, it turned out that this beautiful beauty that everyone coveted is subconsciously giving birth to a touch of jealousy. Mr. Yuhi, I just came back from my mission. You don't have to explain anything to me. Kurenai Yuhi left a sentence and turned away. The steps under her feet were a little hurried, and she didn't know why she did this. He is an elder, he actually eats the jealousy of a younger generation. Looking back now, it doesn't seem like this is the first time. Because Kurama Yakumo lived in her house for half a year, it was fine at the beginning. But later, whenever she saw Yakumo haunting Tokiyu, she always felt a little uncomfortable in her heart. It was not until Yakumo returned to the Kurama clan that her emotions gradually faded away. But today, this emotion has been mobilized again. That's why Kurenai Yuhi, who walked away quickly, thought to himself. What the hell am I? Could it be that what Yugao said is true? I really have different feelings for that guy. The open black lens bracket Yugao close black lens bracket in Kurenai Yuhi's mouth is none other than the lover open black lens bracket Azuki Yugao close black lens bracket of open black lens bracket Moonlight Hayate close black lens bracket. The latter is also one of the few beautiful ninjas in Konoha. But in Moonlight Hayate, it was Orochimaru's Konoha destruction plan, who died 2 years ago. Since then, open black lens bracket Azuki Yugao close black lens bracket is to leave the original job and leave open black lens bracket Anbu close black lens bracket. Because of her emotions, it is no longer suitable to perform tasks in open black lens bracket Anbu close black lens bracket. Kurenai Yuhi had some friendship with her at first, but because of the special nature of open black lens bracket Anbu close black lens bracket, they rarely got in touch. But now that the latter has withdrawn from Anbu, the two have naturally met a lot more frequently. Why Kurenai Yuhi accidentally mentioned Tokiyu? Just that she didn't say who this person was. Azuki Yugao didn't follow up, just answered Kurenai Yuhi's question. As a past person, the answer she gave was, Kurenai Yuhi was in love. Kurenai Yuhi didn't believe it at first. But later, she found that many things were the same as what Azuki Yugao said. But she still might not be a relationship between a man and a woman, and knowing that she had just seen Tokiyu being sent out of the house by Sakura made her believe this fact. Example, just now, she couldn't control her emotions. Being a jonin, as a teacher for so long, this was the first time she was sulking because of this kind of thing. Why she left in a hurry. Seeing this, Shiyu didn't immediately catch up to comfort him. Because he knew that it wasn't the time yet, only after Kurenai Yuhi digested and accepted the fact, when he appeared, everything would come naturally. Coax casually, it is estimated that you will be coaxed to the bed. Thinking of this, Shiyu is also thinking about what wonderful things will happen after seeing Kurenai Yuhi again. Chapter 286 The Spiritual Dimension Where the Six Paths Immortals Are Located. After the episode of Kurenai Yuhi, Shiyu went to his home. Along the way, his mind was no longer about the wonderful thing with Kurenai Yuhi, but about open black lens bracket Rinnegan close black lens bracket. Because he stayed in that North secret house for 3 days, he got the blood of Sasuke. After he integrated blood of Sasuke into his body using the characteristics of sage body, there was no sign of awakening Rinnegan. Because of this, his original speculation was established. Awakening Rinnegan requires sufficient blood power, and Hashirama cells implanted in Madara's body will take decades to have enough power to open Rinnegan. He has only been implanted for a few days, obviously not enough to open it. Moreover, Sasuke is still the next generation of Indra reincarnation, and his blood power is naturally weaker than Madara. Of course, it's not completely without benefits. Although Rinnegan failed to awaken, Shiyu felt that Sharingan's ability seemed to have improved somewhat. If nothing else, this is the effect of blood power. It is because of blood power that Madara's Sharingan is stronger than the average Uchiha clan. This can be seen from the fact that he can regard open black lens bracket Kyubi, Nine Tails close black lens bracket as a psychic beast. The strength of open black lens bracket bloodline power close black lens bracket cannot be changed by the level of talent, even Shiyu can do nothing about it. Sasuke was able to wake up and instantly awakened open black lens bracket Rinnegan close black lens bracket not by the open black lens bracket Hashirama cells close black lens bracket infused into his body by open black lens bracket Kabuto close black lens bracket, but by open black lens bracket Six Paths Yin power close black lens bracket infused by open black lens bracket Six Paths Immortal close black lens bracket. 6 paths yin power is spiritual energy, which is half of the power of 6 paths immortal. And Naruto gets 6 paths yang power is physical energy, so he can create physical life. These two are one of the energies that make up chakra. This is also directly related to why Sasuke only awakened one Rinnegan. Simply put, the obtained power of 6 paths is incomplete. As for why the awakening is open black lens bracket Tomo Rinnegan close black lens bracket, maybe it is a talent problem, maybe open black lens bracket 6 paths yin power close black lens bracket is not enough to provide the awakening of both eyes, so all the effects are on one eye. But in the final analysis, it is the foreshadowing planted by Kishimoto. That is to say, Rinnegan and Sharingan can be merged, which can be proved from the existence of Samsara Sharingan. After some thought, it might be feasible to awaken open black lens bracket Rinnegan close black lens bracket by absorbing open black lens bracket blood of Sasuke close black lens bracket, but he didn't know how long it would take to create open black lens bracket 6 paths chakra close black lens bracket enough to activate open black lens bracket Rinnegan close black lens bracket. You must know that the chakra of Madara itself is Indra, but it took decades to cultivate Asura with Hashirama cells. And Shiyu itself is neither Indra nor Asura. Therefore, this process will undoubtedly take longer. Although the ability of Shiyu can speed up this process a little, but it cannot be done immediately. Create enough open black lens bracket 6 paths chakra close black lens bracket. Final analysis, it is still a matter of blood. It is obviously not an overnight thing to have the Otsutsuki bloodline of 6 paths immortals derived from one's own blood. Since he couldn't wake up Rinnegan right away, Shiyu could only just let it go. Moreover, he wants to get Rinnegan is not the only way. You must know that in the lottery prize, he got one thing. That is, blood of Indra. Since there is such a prize, it is estimated that blood of Asura, even blood of 6 paths, is possible. Therefore, Shiyu's primary goal now is to complete the tasks of the system and get enough lottery draws. And, after acquiring 1,000,000 talents, he figured out one thing. 6 paths immortals in the spiritual dimension, which requires a premise. That is to use 6 paths chakra as a medium. The reason why 6 paths immortals can use 6 paths chakra. The spirits of Sasuke and Naruto were pulled into the spiritual dimension space where he was, because they had Madara's chakra left on their bodies when they fought in Madara. 6 paths Madara already has 6 paths chakra. When Naruto and Sasuke and Otsutsuki Kagaya were fighting in the dimension space, 6 paths immortal relied on 6 paths Madara's remnant Mukuro to come to the real world. This is the best proof. Otherwise, even the current Shiyu cannot accurately locate the spiritual dimension of 6 paths immortal's spiritual body. Are countless spiritual dimensions, and it cannot be locked without a medium. Simply put, open black lens bracket 6 paths chakra close black lens bracket is a key to the spiritual dimension where open black lens bracket 6 paths immortal close black lens bracket is located. Before Tokiyu went home, he went to find Sai. Tell him that since you are a member of the Kakashi class now, it is natural to meet the real leader of this class. Since Shiyu has put some effort into Sakai, naturally he will not change halfway. In order to make the latter betray completely, this is still necessary. In addition to making Sakai his little brother, his real purpose is to discuss that old guy Danzo. The next day, Shiyu and Naruto met at the agreed place. But what made Naruto puzzled was that Shiyu said that he had to wait for someone else. I said Shiyu, who are we waiting for? Captain Yamato. No. Mr. Guy. Neither. After consecutively guessing that neither of them was, Naruto fell into deep thought. Next second, a face suddenly flashed in his mind, and he said again, Shiyu, don't tell me it's that guy. Yo, that's smart. Just as Shiyu's words fell, the guy in Naruto's mouth appeared. Shishiyu, Naruto, can I participate in your conversation? Hearing this, Shiyu and Naruto's eyes instantly looked at him. None other than Sakai, and it was the person they were waiting for at the moment. Seeing Tokyo and Naruto staring at him without saying a word, Sakai felt a little embarrassed and hurriedly explained. Then that. I read some books that said the way to get to know people as quickly as possible is to communicate with them more. The book says you can call each other by their first name, or even use a nickname. This will make you look very close and make each other friends very quickly. In this regard, Shiyu still had a calm expression on his face. But Naruto is different. In the past, he didn't like Sakai because of his fake face. But at this moment, Sakai's words are undoubtedly from the heart and the most sincere. And because of this, Naruto's approval. Hee. Sai, I didn't think you wouldn't care about that. Naruto held his head between the words, looking at Sakai at the moment. He is not so annoying anymore. No wonder it was so late last night. You were still there, the library. Hearing Tokyo's words, Sakai smiled. I am sorry. Originally, I wanted to give you a nickname, but I can't think of it, so I can only call you by your first names. Don't think about those things deliberately, just do whatever you want. Naruto wrote. Okay. No ink, let's see Kakashi-sensei. Hearing Tokyo's words, Naruto and Sai also nodded, and then the three of them walked towards Konoha Hospital with laughter and laughter. Chapter 287 Kakashi and Asuma's Secret. Konoha Hospital, in Room 12. Kakashi looked at Tokiha and Naruto in front of him, and the worry in his heart disappeared. After a simple greeting, his eyes fell on Sai. You're the new team member, Sai. Please advise. Between the words, Sakai stared at the white-haired man in front of him, but he was muttering in his heart. This man is Hitaki Kakashi, who is quite famous in Root, and he must have investigated my affairs. Shiyu, you did a good job this time. Kakashi praised Tokyo and the others. There is no doubt that he already knew the news of Orochimaru's death. This result did not shock Konoha, because it was rumored that Sasuke killed Orochimaru, and now the latter has become Konoha's missing nin. Except for a few people who know the news, everyone else is unbelievable. Didn't it mean that Sasuke went out to practice? Why is he now getting involved with Orochimaru, and he also killed the latter? In this regard, Konoha's explanation was that he was taken away by Orochimaru instead of practicing at the beginning. Now that things can't be hidden, they naturally want to give a reasonable excuse. But as for the truth, only a few people know. If Orochimaru is not dead, Sasuke can't go back to Konoha. But now that Orochimaru is dead, Sasuke still hasn't returned to Konoha. Therefore, Konoha can only temporarily give the latter a missing nin identity. The purpose of this is to shut up some caring people, so as to block the mouth of Yu. But this is only one. The second is to allow Sasuke to have better access to the Akatsuki organization. Konoha, missing nin. This identity, open black lens bracket Akatsuki close black lens bracket can organize less defense against Sasuke. That's what Tashiya and Kakashi said at this moment. Kakashi already knew about Sasuke, so it's okay to tell him about this follow-up plan. But to Kakashi's astonishment, Tokyo let a Sakai who came out of Root know about it. Although he was very surprised, he didn't ask him face to face. He knew that Tokyo had always been cautious, and since he dared to reveal it in front of Sakai, he naturally had his plans. Only reason, he could only find a time in private to ask. And while Kakashi was talking to Tokyo and the others, the door of the ward was suddenly opened. Creep. Following a slight sound, 4 figures came into view of Shiyu and the others. None other than Asuma class. How is your body recovering, Kakashi? The first opening was naturally Shikamaru, Choji and Ino's mentor, Sarutobi Asuma, the son of 3 Hokage. Seeing Shiyu was there, Choji said with a simple and honest face. How are you? The middle of the conversation, Choji didn't forget to chew potato chips in his mouth, and he was still sending it to his mouth piece by piece. Seeing that Tokiyu was also present, Ino hurriedly said something. "Asuma-sensei, you should knock on the door first. Shiyu and Naruto are also here," Shikamaru said, and then his eyes were also on the well, and he asked softly. "Presumably this is your new friend." "Hello, my name is Sakai." Sakai greeted him, and then gave his name. Shikamaru and others looked at Sai a little, and their first impression of the latter was not bad. Of course, if Sai, who didn't know the world at all, probably Shikamaru and the others would be as disgusted as Naruto wanted to die. Looking at Sasuke, who is somewhat similar to Sasuke, several people also thought of Sasuke. They did not expect that Sasuke, who had disappeared for 2 years, was kidnapped by Orochimaru instead of training. Sasuke is now designated as missing nin, which is undoubtedly a pity. Of course, this is only a unilateral ruling because Sasuke did not return to Konoha. After all, Sasuke has never done anything so far. Damn Konoha, if he can come back, Shikamaru and the others are also happy to see him. But Ino and Choji just saw this, but they didn't think as deeply as Shikamaru. Tokiyu and Naruto are Sasuke's teammates, but they don't seem to care too much. Others might think that the two of them didn't want to reveal it, but the smart Shikamaru sensed something was wrong. Pulling Shiyu to the corner, he asked in a low voice. "Shiyu, Sasuke him. Don't worry, he will be back." Shiyu didn't explain much, just gave a very positive answer, but there was a deep meaning in his words. Not you can understand Shiyu's deep meaning depends on how smart Shikamaru is. After hearing the words, Shikamaru pondered for a while, with a smile of understanding on his face, and replied with 4 words. "I see." Immediately, the two looked at each other and smiled. There was a feeling of mutual sympathy. Although Shikamaru doesn't know Tokiyu's specific plan, he can probably guess that all this is Tokiyu's plan. Otherwise, the latter would not have given him such a firm answer. "Oh, yes. If you need my help next, just say it. Anyway, the damn Chunin exam is over." "Don't be troublesome then." Shiyu sneered. He knew that Shikamaru hated trouble the most. "I may not be devoted to other people's troubles, but yours is another matter. It seems that I can't do it if I don't pay you, buddy." When Tokiha and Shikamaru were talking happily, Asuma suggested. "We Class 10 rarely have time to get together with Class 7, you little bastards, let's go eat barbecue." Choji jumped out first. "Barbecue, yay." "Yes." Ino echoed, and then said, "I want to sit next to Shiyu." Ino knew that Shiyu was going to be a guest at her house tonight, but what she didn't expect was that she could dine with the latter at noon. The most important thing is that the competitor of Sakura is not there yet, which is undoubtedly a great news. She has absolutely no reason to object. "Teacher Asuma, why don't you go?" Shikamaru had no doubt heard what Asuma meant, so that's why he asked. "I still have important things to discuss with Kakashi, and this barbecue is even if I invite you." In this regard, people no longer ask anything. Immediately after, Shiyu and his party of 6 left Kakashi's ward together and disappeared from Kakashi and Asuma's sight. "Okay, everyone is gone. What are you trying to say to me? It's so mysterious." Kakashi's words, Asuma coughed lightly, and then said, "It's just that I recently discovered that Yuhi is becoming more and more cold to me." This, Kakashi was stunned. He never imagined that Asuma would send Shiyu and others away just to tell him this. "If you ask me about this, I don't understand. You must know that Kakashi is still a single dog, and he understands women and what he thinks in his heart. I know that, so I'm not asking you to discuss this." Asuma knew that among his peers, only Kakashi was the most thoughtful, and as for Emperor Guy, forget it. That's a typical middle two youth. If nothing else, they are destined to be single for a lifetime. Even if Asuma and Kakashi want to break their heads, they won't think that the change in Yuhi's attitude is not because of anything, but because of one person. This is none other than the little devil in their eyes. And this little devil, at this time, was enjoying the meal at the barbecue restaurant. After the trip to the barbecue restaurant, Shiyu went to Ino's house again that night. After visiting Sakura's boudoir, Ino's nature is also not to be missed. Please download Faye to see the underlined version of the novel. Chapter 288 _ do something. Anko's late night visit. That night, Shiyu's meal in dinner is also comfortable. Her father, Yamanaka Inoichi, really likes Shiyu. Sakura's parents are ordinary people who don't know how evil Shiyu's talent is, but Ino's father, Yamanaka Inoichi, is a real jonin. He has seen Shiyu's performance in the past 3 years, and he naturally appreciates Shiyu. If the latter can marry his daughter, he is obviously very happy to see it. However, say it again. Ino's mother's braised pig's trotters is really good, and it really has a match with Sakura's father's chan beef. But that's not the point. The point is that when Shiyu got home, he found someone standing at the door. A woman. She did not meet Kurenai Yuhi, nor Sakura, Tenten, Hinata, etc. It's Konoha's special jonin, Mitarashi Anko. Apparently, she should have come to Tokiha specifically. If nothing else, it should be about Orochimaru. After some thoughts flashed in his heart, Shiyu was the first to speak out. Teacher Anko, you have something to do with me. Anko nodded, then said, there are some things I want to talk to you about. It's cold outside, come in and talk. He took out the key between the words, opened the door, and invited Anko into his house. Shiyu's house is not luxurious, it is no different from that of ordinary people. When Anko simply finished visiting the Tokihaya house, he finally went straight to the theme. Shiyu, that. Anko-sensei, do you want to ask if Orochimaru is really dead? Seeing Shiyu expressing his doubts, Anko nodded. Although he knew that Orochimaru had done all her bad things, she still had a little bit of mentoring and apprenticeship in her heart. Because when she learned of Orochimaru's secret, the latter did not kill her, but only sealed her memory. I learned from Hokage-sama that you killed Orochimaru. Not bad. Seeing Shiyu's own admission, Anko's expression became calm, and 3 words sounded in his heart. Are you dead? Seeing Anko like this, Tokyu asked. What, doesn't Anko-sensei want him Orochimaru to die? It's not. Anko responded lightly, and then said, I just feel that there is no purpose in my heart, and I am a little lost. Anko didn't lie, killing Orochimaru was actually what she wanted to do. But as a disciple, although she always said that, but she didn't know if she would be able to get that hand at that time. Secondly, she may not be able to kill Orochimaru with her strength. But now Tokyu has done it for her, and she lost her goal for a while before she had such a look. Call. A deep breath and adjusting his emotions, Anko's voice also sounded slowly. Shiyu, thank you. Hugged him directly under Tokyu's stunned gaze, and Tokyu felt the softness of the mountains once again. But this time, Shiyu was bold. Hugged Anko directly, and at that moment, his body trembled. But Shiyu said in a macho manner. Ms. Anko, cry if you want to. Shiyu's words, Anko was so restrained, a choked sound came from the head lying on Shiyu's shoulder. Although she didn't cry, Shiyu knew she wanted to vent. This hug is a long time. Time passed bit by bit, and Anko, who hugged Shiyu, fell asleep while choking. This result gave Tashiu quite a headache. He had planned everything and waited for Anko to recover, so he took advantage of this atmosphere to rectify the FA on the spot. But now it's all right, the latter fell asleep. If Anko didn't fall asleep, then you could be a little stronger, and even the overlord could take the bait. That time, you can see Anko's attitude, whether he has completely relieved his heart. The problem is that the latter is asleep. If he starts at this time, it will inevitably make Anko feel that he is a villain who takes advantage of others. The beautiful sex in the future is estimated to be in vain. This is not the result that Shiyu wants to see. Therefore, Shiyu could only stubbornly suppress the primitive restlessness in his heart. Of course, Shiyu is not stupid. Since it can't be the usual ripe apple, it is possible to enjoy how sweet this apple is in advance. Think about this. Shiyu didn't talk nonsense either, and directly carried Anko to the bed. Seeing the beauty so close at hand, Shiyu swallowed, then turned off the light, hugged Anko and fell asleep like this. In his sleep, Shiyu seemed to hug him even tighter. The next day, when the morning sun cuts through the clouds and shines on the earth, the coldness of the night is gradually fading. As the warm sunlight climbed into Tokyu's room through the window along the wall, Tokyu with a smile on his face finally woke up from his sleep. Although he hadn't opened his eyes yet, he couldn't put it down because of the softness in his hands. When he opened his sullen eyes, he found that Anko was still awake. So he continued to pretend to be asleep and brought his head closer. That way, something wonderful might happen when Anko wakes up. After some struggle, the hands left Anko's body. It has been a rogue all night, and when I wake up, I naturally want to pretend to be a gentleman. Just like this, it took about half an hour. Anko's eyelids moved in his sleep, and he finally opened those sullen and beautiful eyes. But the scene that caught her eye was startling. If it wasn't because the face reflected in her pupils didn't make her disgusted, she probably wouldn't have called it out. Instead, he would wake up the man who shared the bed with him with one kick, and then kill him without hesitation. But because this person was Shiyu, she didn't do it. On the contrary, a shy smile appeared on the corner of her mouth. Because she knew why she stayed overnight at Shiyu's house, and why the latter slept with her. For example, she herself is now hugging Shiyu. If nothing else, she fell asleep last night when she was holding Shiyu to release her emotions. In her opinion, it should be that Shiyu was afraid of waking her up, so she let herself fall asleep like this. Because she didn't see Shiyu hugging her, and one arm was resting on her head. This move made her very touched. Looking at this face so close at hand, Anko didn't know what to think at this moment. A heart that had never beat violently in more than 120 years was running wildly, and a bold idea was born in his mind. Even more terrifying is that she actually wanted to take action. I saw her head slowly leaning towards Shiyu, a fragrant lip infinitely adjoining Shiyu's cheek. No surprises. A tombow point of water rippled on Shiyu's face, and Shiyu enjoyed the feeling at that moment. It's a pity that the four lips are not facing each other. But of course, the show must be done to the end, and Shiyu naturally can't wake up. Otherwise, I don't know how embarrassing this picture will be. After doing all this, Anko hurriedly retracted his head, the little heart beating more and more violently. At the same time, various thoughts kept popping up in my mind. What am I doing? How could I have such thoughts about him, Shiyu? ... Thoughts flashing in his mind, Anko hurriedly got up and stood by the bed watching Shiyu, who was still pretending to be asleep. Anko watched silently for a while, and finally sighed. Alas! Without any extra words, Anko finally turned around and left. No one knew what was on her mind at the moment. But no matter what she was thinking, one thing was certain. That is, she has fallen in love with Shiyu. As for the final result, it depends on Shiyu's ability. After Anko left, Shiyu also slowly opened those slightly closed eyes. Turning the eyeballs that seem to be formed, I don't know what bad idea is going on. There are 3 things to do when reading. Chapter 289_Identity Swap. Student, Kakashi. The next day, early in the morning, Shiyu and Naruto went to the second examination room of the previous Chunin exam, Death Forest. Not surprisingly, they are going to practice here. Besides the two of them, there is another person, that is Kakashi. Why Shiyu called Kakashi was to see if the latter had the talent to learn Sage Art. If the latter can master open black lens bracket Sage Art close black lens bracket, the sequelae of using open black lens bracket Sharingan close black lens bracket in the future will be offset a lot. Although it can't be as pervert as open black lens bracket Sage body close black lens bracket, it is enough to make Kakashi's strength to a higher level. Of course, the premise is that Kakashi has talent in this area. Naruto, the Sage mode I created by myself is quite complicated, and your learning progress is relatively slow. According to your current progress, if you want to learn the Sage mode developed by me, it will take at least half a month. Half a month? Naruto exclaimed. That it would take so long to learn this trick. It's also because you have talent in this area, otherwise, ordinary people will not be able to learn even if they are poor all their lives. Was in a good mood after hearing Shiyu's words. And it's true. Open black lens bracket Sage mode close black lens bracket but not ordinary people can learn it, and very few in the history of the ninja world have learned this trick. Like Jiraiya, who spent decades still mastering the perfect Mount Myoboku Sage mode. And Orochimaru has also been to open black lens bracket Raichi Cave close black lens bracket, but he cannot learn open black lens bracket Raichi Cave Sage mode close black lens bracket. Not that Orochimaru is lacking in talent, but that he is lacking in the perception of natural energy. Just like Sasuke who sensed natural energy with Naruto last time, Karen and Suzuki 3, their ninjutsu talents are above Naruto, but they are all in the cultivation of perception of natural energy. Enter Naruto. Seen that everyone has their own areas of expertise. Otherwise, Tsunade will not be able to learn the Sage mode of this holy land after signing the Shikatsu Forest for so long. Sage mode close black lens bracket created by Shiyu is more advanced than the open black lens bracket 3 holy lands close black lens bracket, because he does not allow any other features. After hearing the conversation between Tokihira and Naruto, Kakashi was puzzled. When he came back to his senses, he couldn't help asking, obviously a little curious about it. Shiyu, what kind of ninjutsu are you talking about in Sage mode? Kakashi-sensei. You may not have heard of Sage mode, but you should have heard of Sage art. Sage art. Kakashi muttered, then fell into thought. After a while, he said, I remembered, I have heard this technique from the mouth of 4th Hokage. Konoha has been passed down to this day, and there are very few master Sage art, and one hand can count them. Moreover, people who know Akatsuki's spell are not good enough. Because of this, it is rare to know the existence of this open black lens bracket Sage art close black lens bracket. If Kakashi is not a disciple of open black lens bracket 4th Hokage close black lens bracket, it is unlikely that he has heard of open black lens bracket Sage art close black lens bracket. The reason why he doesn't read open black lens bracket Sage art close black lens bracket deeply is because open black lens bracket Namikaze Minato close black lens bracket is not good at open black lens bracket Sage art close black lens bracket. Therefore, even as students of 4th generation Hokage, they rarely have the opportunity to see the latter perform. Hearing Kakashi's words, Tokiyu also explained. This Sage mode is the premise of Sage art. Mr. Kaka, if you are interested, you can also try it. Maybe you have an extraordinary talent in this area. I know that, teacher, because you need to maintain Sharingan all the year round. Your chakra has never been able to maintain a peak state. If you learn Sage mode, you will be able to overcome the shortcoming of chakra's insufficiency. Also, it can also greatly reduce the backlash of sharing on the body. Because the strength of the body will be significantly improved under Sage mode, whether it is attack power, defense power or recovery ability. Kakashi, who heard the words, was stunned for a moment, and his heart was very moved. But he did not show any crazy actions, but controlled his emotions and asked again. Shiyu, you just said that this open black lens bracket Sage mode close black lens bracket is developed by yourself. Shiyu nodded, and then said, as far as I know, there is no other place in the world today that has this secret technique except the 3 sacred places that have been passed down for thousands of years. But the most important thing is that the managers of these three holy places are not human beings. Not human. Kakashi exclaimed. They are all creatures of nature, or psychic beasts. Shiyu, what are these three holy places? Kakashi became more and more curious. These three sacred places are the secret realm where the psychic beasts of Konoha Sannin are located. They are the Mount Myoboku, signed by the lecherous immortal, the Raichi Cave, signed by Orochimaru, and the Shikatsu Forest, signed by Grandma Tsunade. Said, Kakashi answered the doubts in his heart, but at the same time he was very surprised. Shiyu, how did you know these secrets? The last time I was practicing summoning the psychic beasts of Shikatsu Forest with Grandma Tsunade, I learned that sage art was also what Slug Immortal told me. I also learned from its mouth that the reason why the first Hokage is so powerful is because the master has sage mode. So it is. Kakashi murmured, and then said, Shiyu, what do you mean by calling me here? Isn't this seeing the teacher that you have been dragged down by Sharingan, so I want you to give it a try. But, seeing Kakashi hesitating to speak, Tokiyu said. Kakashi-sensei. Anyway, I'm teaching Naruto, it doesn't matter if there is one more. Words. Kakashi's heart was extremely moved. Reason why he was hesitant to speak before was because every kind of self-created ninjutsu was a representative of a ninja. It's not that the developers will teach you what ninjutsu you want to learn, but it depends on the wishes of the developers. Unless the developer has compiled his own ninjutsu into the scroll for future generations to learn, which is quite rare. After all, who would give their representative ninjutsu to others to learn? Of course, there are also a few who are selfless. In addition, there is another kind of ninja who will take the initiative to record the various ninjutsu developed by themselves for future generations to learn in order not to bury their own ninjutsu when they are old. Without exception, the ninjutsu in each ninja village is accumulated like this. That's why Kakashi was a little moved. At this time, Kakashi felt a little weird. He was Tokiyu's instructor, but now the latter wants to teach him. This exchange of identities makes him feel awkward. Kakashi is a little overwhelmed at this moment. Chapter 290 Sage Art Qualification. Go to Raichi Cave. In the Forest of Death. Three of Tokiwa stood facing each other, and Kakashi finally spoke after being silent for a while. Shiyu, trouble. Kakashi-sensei, what are you talking about? Didn't you say that we are a team, and the most important thing for a team is to help each other? Now that the Akatsuki organization is rampant, if Kakashi-sensei can increase your strength, it will undoubtedly be good news. Since this technique can help you, you should try it. That's right, but Shiyu just wanted to see if Kakashi has this talent. As for whether the latter can learn sage art, then he can only see himself. Hearing this, Kakashi's face showed a happy smile. Today's Shiyu is not only better than the blue in terms of strength, but also not inferior to any of their predecessors in terms of the overall situation. Even sage mode, this kind of thing is taken out without hesitation. But this is not the point. The point is that this open black lens bracket sage mode close black lens bracket turned out to be developed by Shiyu himself. From Shiyu's mouth, the three sacred places with open black lens bracket sage mode close black lens bracket have passed down thousands of eternals. Tokiyu, it has only been 3 short years since he became a ninja. But now it is such a dazzling achievement. These achievements are unique in the entire ninja world. If there is really anything that can be compared with it, I am afraid it is only the legendary originator of the ninja world, Six Paths Immortal. Because of this, Kakashi is also more and more firm in this idea. So, be a student. Why not? Okay, then I'll give it a try. Kakashi's voice fell, and Naruto spoke first. Kakashi-sensei, let's see who can train first. Kakashi, who heard the words, smiled slightly, and then said, whether I can cultivate this sage mode is still unknown. According to Shiyu, if you want to practice this open black lens bracket sage mode close black lens bracket, you must sense open black lens bracket natural energy close black lens bracket. If you can't even do this, then you will be out of luck with open black lens bracket sage art close black lens bracket. Immediately after, Shiyu also had no unnecessary nonsense, which made Kakashi begin to perceive natural energy. As for Naruto, it is to continue the condensation of sage art chakra. Because Naruto can slowly condense sage art chakra, Tokyo asked Kakashi to practice beside the former. In this way, it must be twice the result with half the effort, because Naruto made rapid progress when he practiced beside Changwoo. Time passed by minute. Looking at the sun that was past noon, Naruto's cultivation was getting better. Although it breaks the balance from time to time, it will be corrected by Tokyo right away. As for Kakashi, there is still no movement. But the latter didn't seem to give up, and obviously, Kakashi was quite eager for this power. As a genius, he is also a bit reckless. Although open black lens bracket Sharingan close black lens bracket brings him many advantages, it also has some disadvantages. The advantages outweigh the disadvantages. After more than 10 years, this disadvantage has never been eliminated. If there is a chance for this disadvantage, he obviously will not give up easily. The perception of natural energy does not matter whether you are a genius, it is an innate talent. Otherwise, it took Jiraiya decades to learn it. But Orochimaru and Tsunade, who are the other two Holy Land contractors, have not learned it, because they are not talented enough. Obviously not. This is a physical problem, innate come. Shiyu was originally a elementary sage body, but after more than 2 years of natural ability baptism, he has reached the level of intermediate sage body. It is estimated that it will take a long time to break through advanced sage body. Every inch of the body's skin, every inch of flesh, every drop of blood, a cell is nourished by natural energy, which is obviously a long process. It's amazing that Shiyu can reach this height in 2 years. You must know that it took decades for 6 paths immortal to become perfect sage body. Comparing the two, you can already see the difference. It was already afternoon, and Shiyu asked his clone to guard him. He went to eat and came back. However, the two are still immersed in cultivation. That's all for Naruto, but so is Kakashi. Seeing that Kakashi's desire for this power. But desire is desire, Kakashi is not a demanding person. Shiyu is also clear about this. But the latter obviously wanted to try his best. Even if he failed in the end, he didn't withdraw. At least he worked hard. The sun gradually slanted westward, looking at the two people whose faces were covered with the slightest sweat. Originally thought that Kakashi was hopeless, but at this moment a faint energy wandered around Kakashi. Seeing this, a smile appeared on Shiyu's face. Although it is a little worse than Naruto, it still has some potential. It is estimated that it is similar to 4th generation Hokage. At the same time, Kakashi's eyes, which had been tightly closed for 5 or 6 hours, suddenly opened, revealing excitement. Shiyu, I sense what you call natural energy. Congratulations, teacher. Shiyu responded, and then said, Naruto, today's practice ends here. Hearing Shiyu's words, Naruto also reluctantly withdrew from the practice. Said after examining the sage art chakra condensed in Naruto's body. Naruto, according to your current sage art chakra condensation, it is not enough for you to perform ninjutsu, but it is almost there. Hearing Shiyu's words, Naruto was extremely excited. Because Shiyu told him that if you want to practice open black lens bracket futon, wind style recentric close black lens bracket, you must learn this open black lens bracket sage mode close black lens bracket. Otherwise, I can only have a weakened version of recentric. Of course, if you want to learn, you must learn the strongest, so Naruto will practice such a sleepless night. Can't master open black lens bracket sage mode close black lens bracket. If you forcibly practice open black lens bracket futon, wind style recentric close black lens bracket, your body will not be able to support it. But Shiyu actually developed this ninjutsu, naturally he must have corresponding means. Because not everyone can learn Sage Mode, so he developed a weakened version. Since it is a weakened version, the power is naturally one level lower. As for the benefit, it is to greatly reduce the damage to the body. But due to the particularity of this ninjutsu, it is impossible to avoid all damage. So even if it seems to be a weakened version, it can't be used without restrictions. It just so happens that you two haven't eaten lunch yet. In order to celebrate the success of Kakashi's perception, let's go and have a good meal. I agree. Hearing Tokiyu's proposal and Naruto's second opinion, Kakashi did not refuse, and smiled. Then let me treat you. Voice fell, the three of them left the forest of death with laughter and laughter. That night, Shiyu was about to leave for open black lens bracket Raichi Cave close black lens bracket. In order to ensure that Naruto and Kakashi's cultivation can proceed normally, he left behind a clone. The strength of the clone depends on the strength of the main body. Shiyu's main body is so strong, so his clone is naturally boundless. Because of this, it is impossible for a normal attack to make his clone disappear. After briefly explaining the matter to the clone, Tokiyu took out a silver-gray scroll from the system's items. Undoubtedly, it's open black lens bracket Raichi Cave transmission ticket close black lens bracket. There are 3 things you need to do when you read. Chapter 291-3 Big Snakes Heim. Trial of 3 levels. In the room, Shiyu held the open black lens bracket Raichi Cave teleportation ticket close black lens bracket, and then slowly opened it under the eyes of the clone. Immediately after, Shiyu injected chakra, activating the teleportation formation inside. Next second, an incomparable rune appeared under Shiyu's feet, and then Shiyu's voice disappeared from the room. The moment Shiyu disappeared from the room, the space at the entrance to a secret realm far away at the end of this world began to distort. Swish! I saw a white light falling from the sky, like a giant blade that lifted the sky. After the white light completely dissipated, a figure was also exposed in the air. This figure is none other than Tokiyu, who disappeared in Konoha before. After teleporting here, Tokiyu carefully looked around. He found that he was in a fog at this time, and if nothing else, he had entered the first test area of Raichi Cave. Legend has it that open black lens bracket Raichi Cave close black lens bracket is specially responsible for screening the snake people who enter the Raichi Cave. As long as the person who fails to pass the test, with the permission of open black lens bracket white snake immortal close black lens bracket, the loser will be eaten by the snake person who is responsible for the screening. The fog test area where Shiyu is now is the first level. The snake person in charge of this level is named Tien Shinshinheim. She is one of the 3 high-level leaders of Raichi Cave and one of the 3 snakes Heim. 1. They are all the elder-level capable confidants of White Snake Immortal. Other 2 god snakes Heim are Ikijima Heim and Tanjin Heim. Tan Shinshinheim's image is a beautiful woman. Ikijima Heim's image is lowly. And Tanjin Heim's image is Yu's sister. The 3 major snakes Heim have 3 characteristics, and all 3 of them have extremely powerful, sage art chakra, in their bodies, and their job is to screen the trialists who enter Raichi Cave. These 3 snakes Heim in open black lens bracket Raichi Cave close black lens bracket is equivalent to that of open black lens bracket Fukasaku close black lens bracket and open black lens bracket Jima close black lens bracket in open black lens bracket Mount Myoboku close black lens bracket. They are all immortal level existences. Only the psychic beasts who have mastered sage art can be transformed into humanoids. Tien Shinshinheim has the ability to float freely in the air and be invisible, and the master has a powerful demonic illusion, barter change. It can turn an empty land into a castle of Raichi Cave, and there is a lot of food inside, so as to confuse those who come to practice. And in this fog, the tester will lose his way, and open black lens bracket Tien Shinshinheim close black lens bracket will not turn the castle into illusion until the experimenter is depressed and hungry. Because at that time, food was undoubtedly an irresistible temptation. But if the tester ate the food she changed, it meant that the test failed. At that time, the tester's flesh and chakra will become her food, which can be said to be the cruelest among the three holy places. But at the same time, the three holy lands of immortals, of Raichi Cave, is the strongest, there is no doubt about this. It is said that the sage mode of Raichi Cave cultivated to perfect shape. Dragon. According to the normal situation, what Shiyu has to do now is to wait for Tien Shinshinheim to create Raichi Cave Castle and pass the trial of the first level. But since Shiyu knew about the customs clearance, he had other plans. In fact, he can completely ignore the trials and go directly to meet the White Snake Immortal. But since everyone has come, it is natural to have a good experience. Face-to-face contact with the three major snakes Heim is not worth a visit to open black lens bracket Raichi Cave close black lens bracket. Anyway, he is not in a hurry, even if he is in the country. After all, the first mission of this system is to be carried out in Raichi Cave, so there is no need to break the rules. The first task: subdue the dragon. Orochi. Yaki Orochi is the strongest existence in Raichi Cave except White Snake Immortal, and no one can make him obedient except White Snake Immortal. Its body size can be compared with the open black lens bracket Iwasu Big Toad close black lens bracket of open black lens bracket Mount Myoboku close black lens bracket. Be inferred that its size can be seen as a Madara. The strength of this Yaki Orochi is unfathomable. Wan Snake and Shin Kiba Red Snake are his followers, ranking in the second echelon. As for Sasuke's Psychic Beast Blue Snake Enko's Psychic Beast Flower Snake, and Orochimaru's first summoned Black Snake, in Dead Forest some large snakes belong to the third echelon, and their strength is not bad. Not bad. As for the Orochimaru under the third echelon, the strength is just average. Orochimaru wanted to sign the Yaki Orochimaru, but he couldn't surrender to this big guy at all, and he almost gave up his life. And I had to settle for the next best thing and chose Wan Snake. However, Orochimaru also gained something in the battle with Yaki Orochi, and his Yaki art came from this. However, there is a difference between the Yaki Orochi that he transformed into and the Raichi Cave real Yaki Orochi. But Shiyu knew that before subduing this Yaki Orochi, he had to meet the legendary White Snake Immortal first. No matter how the latter's strength can be in charge of open black lens bracket Raichi Cave close black lens bracket, it is enough to show that her qualifications are recognized by all the big snakes. Otherwise, a terrifying existence as strong as Yaki Orochi would not obey her discipline. As far as Shiyu knew, this White Snake Immortal lived in a temple deep in Raichi Cave. This, Shiyu directly activated open black lens bracket Byakugan close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket Byakugan close black lens bracket. As soon as it opened, the foggy formation at this moment seemed to not exist in Shiyu's eyes. With the two abilities of Telescope Eye and Perspective Eye, Shiyu has already found the deep temple of Raichi Cave. Immediately after, without any hesitation, Shiyu headed straight for his destination. And this scene fell in the eyes of the three big snakes Heim, who were hiding in the dark place of the mist. At this moment, they finally communicated. Do you still want to go forward? It doesn't seem like a lost passerby. The voice of the royal sister type Tanjin Heim fell. Lowly fans Ikijima Heim continued. It's too early to draw conclusions. If that's the case, let's confirm it directly. The beautiful Tien Shinshinheim spoke slowly, and she couldn't help sticking out her tongue when the voice fell. It seems that Shiyu has been determined to be their food. Open black lens bracket Raichi Cave close black lens bracket. One wrong step in the trial is the abyss of death, and there is no room for maneuver. For thousands of years, very few people have been able to pass the test. Moreover, Shiyu is only a teenager. What kind of character can you have at such an age? It is estimated that even the first level will not be able to pass. After the three of them talked, they disappeared into the fog, as if they had disappeared out of thin air. The ability of the three major snakes Heim, invisibility. Next. The person in charge of the first level Tien Shinshinheim made his move, with a wave of her sleeve robe. A row of lanterns appeared in front of Shiyu, and this scene was undoubtedly a beacon to guide the way forward in a dimly lit environment. No matter who the tester is, they will definitely step forward to find out. Just as they imagined, Shiyu really followed the light guided by the lantern. The beginning is the same as what they thought, but the ending is bound to be greatly unexpected. Chapter 292-Tien Shinshinheim. Live blood vessels. A few minutes later, Shiyu successfully arrived at the Raichi Cave Castle, which was transformed by Tien Shinshinheim with a gorgeous appearance. Just when Naiyu stopped, the gate of the castle slowly opened. Creep. Immediately after, a beautiful woman's figure came into Shiyu's eyes. The woman was wearing a white robe, surrounded by silk sash, and wearing a golden bead and sunset crown, looking very extraordinary. No doubt that this person is open black lens bracket Tien Shinshinheim close black lens bracket of open black lens bracket Raichi Cave close black lens bracket one of the three great snake heims. At the moment of seeing Shiyu, Tien Shinshinheim said directly, "Congratulations, Your Excellency, and welcome to open black lens bracket Raichi Cave close black lens bracket. Please." Between the words Tien Shinshinheim made a gesture of invitation to Shiyu, very polite. Would not refuse this kind of situation. If they found the legendary Raichi Cave and it is also known as a holy place, they would naturally let go of their vigilance. And it is precisely because of this that the vast majority of testers cannot even pass the first level. Not to mention the practice of open black lens bracket sage art close black lens bracket. Shiyu pretended to be surprised, and then he did not refuse, and followed open black lens bracket Tien Shinshinheim close black lens bracket into his illusionary castle. Lanterns are hanging high and the lights are bright. The palace dragon Jinchuriki column stands and is resplendent. But not the most important. The most important thing is that the palace is filled with all kinds of fragrant food. Is undoubtedly a fatal temptation for the testers who have traveled long distances to find Raichi Cave and have been hovering in the foggy formation for a long time. Bringing Shiyu into the palace, Tien Shinshinheim goes straight to the point. My name is Tien Shinshinheim, and I am one of the guardians of Raichi Cave. You must be exhausted from the long journey here. Well, I am really tired. Shiyu nodded and played with the latter. If that's the case, then you can take a good rest here. Acting is naturally a complete set, and some doubts still need to be raised. By the way, is this really open black lens bracket Raichi Cave close black lens bracket? Of course. As the White Snake Immortal here. The people who come here are basically testers who want to gain powerful power, and the main purpose is naturally to find White Snake Immortal to learn sage art. Yes. However, Lord White Snake Immortal will not see people easily in the temple deep in Raichi Cave. But I'm here to find White Snake Immortal. Shiyu continued. I see. Tien Shinshinheim responded, and then said, You wait here for a while, and I will help you arrange it. During this period, the food here is all you can eat. Is it really possible? Shiyu's performance was so realistic that she couldn't help licking her lips, looking extremely hungry. Of course. This is a meal I specially prepared to welcome travelers like Your Excellency who have made a long journey here. Sweet smile on Tien Shinshinheim's face between the words, as if all this is true. However, how could it be possible to hide all this from Shiyu's eyes followed closely? Shiyu sat down in a long chair, and when Tien Shinshinheim saw this, Shiyu brought 2 plates of hot food. Come on, please don't be polite. Then I'm welcome. Shiyu responded, and just as he was about to start, the outstretched arm froze in midair. At this moment, Shiyu seemed to be restrained and motionless. Seeing this, Tien Shinshinheim was slightly taken aback, and hurriedly asked. Your Excellency, what's the matter with you? That, probably because of my long commute, muscle spasms, and I can't move now. Shiyu was talking nonsense in a serious manner, but he said it with a nose and eyes, so that people couldn't see the slightest lie. Otherwise I won't eat it, you. Take me to see, White Snake Immortal. Tien Shinshinheim, who heard the words, was stunned for a moment, and the smile on his face stopped instantly. Because if that's the case, didn't Shiyu pass her trial directly? This is obviously not the result she wants to see. Your Excellency, how do you go to see Lord White Snake Immortal like this? Well, that's what I said. Shiyu gave an embarrassed reply, and then said, then I'll just rest here for a while. I guess I'll be fine in a while. All right. With Tien Shinshinheim nodding, Shiyu said, can you help me lie down? I think it might be better that way. Okay. In order not to let Shiyu pass this test of his own, Tien Shinshinheim naturally can only do so. However, after Shiyu lay down, he began to close his eyes and rest. Time passed minute by minute, and Tien Shinshinheim, on the side, was waiting extremely anxiously. Not to mention whether it is too big to wait like this. Besides, there are still two pairs of eyes staring at her in the dark. If Shiyu passed the test in such a confused way, then she would be too embarrassed. Indeed, Aikikishimaheim and Tanjinheim waited for a long time in the dark. Seeing Shiyu's silence, Tien Shinshinheim finally couldn't bear it any longer. Your Excellency. How do you feel now that you can move? It doesn't seem to work. There was a helpless look on Shiyu's face between the words, and then he said, if someone can help me activate my blood, it should be better faster. Activating blood vessels. Hearing Tien Shinshinheim's remarks, Shiyu hurriedly continued. I heard that muscle spasms in the human body are caused by blood-clogged blood vessels. As long as you properly activate the stagnant blood gas in the body, you can quickly recover. It seems that there is such a saying. Tien Shinshinheim murmured, apparently agreeing with Shiyu's statement. Although she has not set foot in the human world, she has lived for such a long time and has a little understanding of human beings. After struggling in his heart, Tien Shinshinheim said. In that case, let me help you. Shiyu, who heard the words, pretended to be shocked, and then said, this is not good. It's okay. It is fate that your Excellency can find open black lens bracket Ryachi cave close black lens bracket. This little thing is nothing to worry about. Then trouble you. Shiyu's tone sounded embarrassed, but his heart was filled with joy. Open black lens bracket Tien Shinshinheim close black lens bracket. One of the three gods of open black lens bracket Ryachi cave close black lens bracket, gave himself a massage, and it was incredible to think about. Although Tien Shinshinheim is very reluctant, in order not to let Shiyu pass the customs, in order not to lose to the other two snakes Heim. She can't care so much anymore. Massage will not lose any meat, and when Shiyu resumes eating her changed food, she can eat Shiyu to vent her anger. Thought of this, she was also full of energy. And in the dark, open black lens bracket Ikijima close black lens bracket and open black lens bracket Tanjinheim close black lens bracket were dumbfounded, because they had never seen open black lens bracket Tien Shinshinheim close black lens bracket look like this. As one of the guardians of Ryachi Cave aloof, at this moment he is helping a human kid to massage. If Shiyu was eaten afterwards, it would be fine, but if Shiyu passed her test in her life, and it will be used by the other two snakes, Heim, to make fun. Things seem to be getting interesting. Yes. This has never happened in so many years, and I don't know if that kid can pass the first test. Looking at the slightly fragrant scene in the castle, open black lens bracket Ikijima Heim close black lens bracket and open black lens bracket Tanjinheim close black lens bracket secretly discussed quietly. In the conversation had expressions of anticipation on their faces. Obviously, they also want to test Shiyu, a tester. Fei Lu reminds you. Chapter 293_Skeletons Everywhere. Thousand Eternal Alone. The Magical Ryachi Cave Castle. Open black lens bracket Tien Shinshinheim close black lens bracket After massaging Shiyu for a while, he endured the unhappiness in his heart and pretended to be calm. Sir, how are you feeling now? The arms and upper body seem to be able to move. When he was speaking, he raised his hand and clenched his fist slightly, proving that what he said was true. Seeing this, Tian Shinshinheim was also overjoyed. Your hard work is finally not in vain. If that's the case, then you should eat something. After all, there is still a long way to go to the deep temple where Lord White Snake Immortal lives. Well, good. Hearing Tokiyu's answer, Tian Shinshinheim is also very determined in his heart. Looking at Shiyu in front of her, it was as if she was watching a delicious meal. As long as Shiyu ate the food she transformed into, it meant that Shiyu failed the trial, and she could eat Shiyu. In fact, for a fairy like her, eating flesh is only second, and the most important is the chakra produced in the human body. That was the food she wanted. However, just as Shiyu was about to make it, an embarrassing scene appeared. I saw that Shiyu's upper body stood up, but his lower body remained motionless. Seeing this scene, Tian Shinshinheim couldn't help asking, "What's the matter?" "That, my lower body doesn't seem to have recovered." Between the words, Shiyu scratched his head, and a simple and honest smile appeared on his face to hide that he did not lie. Tian Shinshinheim, who heard the words, was stunned on the spot, but she quickly recovered. "Otherwise, let me feed you." "Hey me!" Shiyu exclaimed, and then said, "No, how can I let Godheim Lord feed me? Besides, even if you feed me full now, if my lower body has not recovered, you can't carry me to see the White Snake Immortal later." There's nothing wrong with Shiyu's words, so Tian Shinshinheim doesn't have the slightest chance to refute. Sounded like he didn't want to trouble others, but in fact he put an end to this method. Obviously, Shiyu had other bad thoughts. Tian Shinshinheim, who heard the words, was silent for a moment, obviously struggling. If it continues like this, once Shiyu finds out the clues, it will be worth the loss. After making some choices, open black lens bracket Tian Shinshinheim close black lens bracket opened the mouth and said, "Your Excellency, if you don't mind, let me help you." Shiyu pretended to be stunned, and then said, "Why is this so embarrassing? I have troubled Godheim once just now." "No problem." Having said that, there are millions of unwilling people in open black lens bracket Tian Shinshinheim close black lens bracket S heart. But for this delicious meal, in order not to lose her face in front of the other two big snakes Heim, she could only wrong herself once again. "Then I will trouble Godheim-sama." As Shiyu's voice fell, Tian-shin started to help Shiyu's lower body activate the blood vessels. With the first experience, the second time is naturally handy. Aikijima Heim and Tan, who were hiding in the dark, saw this scene and started talking again. "Second sister, you said that the little one didn't mean it." The words of open black lens bracket Aikikishima Heim close black lens bracket, the royal sister type open black lens bracket Tanjin Heim close black lens bracket replied. "Not sure. If the kid is deliberately playing tricks on the big sister, it means that he has probably seen through the trial of this level. See through the impossible. Yes or no, we will meet Akatsuki soon." The voice of Tanjinheim fell, the snake pupils of the two of them also fixed their eyes on everything in the hall. At the same time, Shiyu is immersed in the massage of Tian Shinshinheim, although he is enjoying himself very much, but his complexion is Gujing Wubo. People can't see the slightest wave. That's exactly the case, when the three big snakes Heim can't be judged. Is Yu pretending to be garlic? Tian Shinshinheim, who was in the trial, even though she realized this, she still chose to continue the massage. This is undoubtedly the last bet she made. If she becomes angry first, then Shiyu will be able to pass the level directly. So she has to bet, no choice. 5 minutes later, Shiyu's lower body that lay flat on his thighs finally moved, but this was obviously Shiyu's intention. Acting also has a limit. If it is too long, it is easy to be seen through. So, be just right. Seeing this, Tian Shinshinheim also stepped up his efforts. After 2 minutes, Shiyu's lower body finally returned to normal, and this result made Tian Shinshinheim extremely happy. Seeing Shiyu can already stand up by himself, Tian Shinshinheim also showed a smile on his pretty face. It seems that your excellency has recovered. Shiyu nodded, and then said, this is all thanks to Godheim-sama, otherwise, I don't know how long it will take to recover the ability to move. It's okay, it's good to recover. By the way, you should hurry up and eat something, so that you will have the strength to meet the Lord White Snake Immortal later. After some polite remarks, open black lens bracket Tian Shinshinheim close black lens bracket entered the theme again. However, this time Tokiyu's answer made her dumbfounded. Godheim-sama. After your massage just now, I feel refreshed and not hungry at all. Otherwise, you can take me directly to see the White Snake Immortal. When Shiyu said these words, Tian Shinshinheim was dumbfounded, and even Ikijima-heim and Tanjin-heim, who were hiding in the dark, were dumbfounded. This answer was obviously beyond the expectations of the three of them. Especially as the client Tian Shinshinheim, he directly condescended to give Shiyu a massage for so long. Originally thought a good meal was about to arrive, but in the end someone told you, cooked duck flew away. This is really stealing chickens without losing rice, losing the wife and losing soldiers. Little devil, just eat the food obediently. At this moment, Tian Shinshinheim finally couldn't bear it anymore, and it was directly revealed. Her pretty face that looked like a beautiful woman instantly turned into a hideous look. A pair of snake pupils suddenly appeared, and the tongue that was sticking out was no different from that of a snake, and she was completely different from the dignified and graceful beautiful woman before. I spent so much time, but in the end it was all in vain. Even though he is an examiner, there will inevitably be a little resentment in his heart. As the sweet voice of Tian Shinshinheim fell, the entire castle slowly disappeared. And the food that was placed in front of Shiyu's eyes was also turned into piles of putrid sludge, or white bones. After the castle completely disappeared. Although he was still in the fog, the skeleton beneath his feet was visible to the naked eye. Not to mention the accumulation of mountains, but also countless. Seen that most of the ninjas who came to Ryachi Cave to seek strength in the long time of Qian Eternal did not even pass the first level. Indeed it is. If there is no keen perception and strong logical thinking in this first level, most people will understand it. But for the scene in front of him, Shiyu's expression was still unusually calm. There was not even a single ripple due to this, just like the appearance of Taishan collapsed before it was not chaotic. At the same time, the cold voice of Tian Shinshinheim sounded slowly. He. I thought I could finally eat fresh human chakra, but I didn't expect it to fall short in the end. The Tian Shinshinheim in the conversation was unwilling, he could not disobey the rules set by the White Snake Immortal. Shiyu didn't eat the food she imagined, but she couldn't help revealing herself first. In other words, Shiyu passed the first test. 1 second after the voice of Tian Shinshinheim fell, another voice rang out. Sister, you lost. Chapter 294 Inches Lowly, Guardian. City Kishima-heim. Sister, you lost. Shiyu wasn't fooled by you. I know. Tian Shinshinheim responded and immediately said, our job is to screen those who are eligible to enter Ryachi Cave. Yes. Only those who failed to pass the test, Lord White Snake Immortal will allow us to devour them. The owner of that voice in the dark is none other than Loli, who is in charge of the trial of the second level, open black lens bracket Ikikishima-heim close black lens bracket. The words of Ikikishima-heim Tan Shinshinheim's gaze returned to Tokiyu's body. Seeing Shiyu's calm face, she was also slightly taken aback. She has been stationed in the first test for thousands of years, and she has never seen a person as indifferent as Shiyu. Even after seeing her transformed into a snake man, Shiyu's face still showed no trace of fear. Even Orochimaru from a few decades ago couldn't do this. You must know that Orochimaru is the most talented contractor they have ever seen, but why didn't the latter learn Sage Mode? The reason is very simple, he doesn't want to die. You must know that you will die if you are not careful in practicing Sage Mode. The ultimate goal of Orochimaru's life is longevity. So, he won't risk himself. If Orochimaru is willing to try, he should be able to learn. Because his body is basically the same as that of a snake, it is undoubtedly easier to learn the open black lens bracket Sage Mode close black lens bracket of open black lens bracket Raichi Cave close black lens bracket. The later period was able to learn Raichi Cave Sage Mode. Orochimaru's cells should have played a big role. After revealing his true body, originally Tien Shinshinheim was reluctant to have too many conversations with humans. But this time, it was an exception. Little devil, I have a few questions for you. Sister Heim, please. Shiyu rode. Are you really not afraid of me, or are you pretending to be calm? How can I be afraid of such a beautiful and dedicated guardian like Godheim sister? Tien Shinshinheim, who heard the words, was stunned for a moment. She did not expect that Shiyu would answer like this. Although she didn't know whether what Shiyu said was true or not, she was very satisfied with this answer. Women, beauty, and female snakes are no exception. This is the nature of female animals. Second question, did you see through my intentions early in the morning? Not all. Shiyu responded with a sound, and then said, first of all, in this kind of fog in the wilderness, how could such a splendid building appear? Even the legendary Raichi Cave shouldn't be so luxurious. So, I was suspicious at the time. Secondly, Godheim sister, you are too enthusiastic. As one of the legendary 3 holy places, it's not difficult to visit, it's not bad, it's not so warm and hospitable. Finally, you are too deliberate to let me have things over and over again. And, of course, after finding an excuse to shirk it, you didn't hesitate to surrender your status to give me special services, which further shows that it's tricky. Hearing what Shiyu said, Tien Shinshinheim also suddenly realized. Humans are the smartest animals. Then you just asked me to massage you on purpose. Tien Shinshinheim was a little embarrassed between the words, but one of the guardians of her dignified Raichi Cave even helped Shiyu massage. If this story spreads out, it will inevitably be ridiculed. Other snake people aside, her 2 younger sisters alone are not a fuel-efficient lamp. I'm just trying. If the god Sister Heim agrees, then my conjecture is completely confirmed, and vice versa. Heard. Open black lens bracket Tien Shinshinheim close black lens bracket slightly stunned, then asked. The first time is understandable, but what about the second time? I don't know that I can pass the test without eating, so I can only continue to delay time. The words between the words seem to be serious, but in fact it is, the arhu in the crotch, pure bullshit. Because in fact, he did it on purpose. But Tien Shinshinheim, they obviously didn't know it, and they never thought that Tokiyu had already known the trial content in advance. Little brother, what's your name? At this moment, Tien Shinshinheim's name for Shiyu changed. She truly admires Tokiha's IQ. Open black lens bracket Takagawa Tokiha close black lens bracket. Hearing Shiyu announce his life, Tien Shinshinheim reminded him. Brother Shiyu. Although you passed my test, this is only the first level. If you want to see the White Snake Immortal, you still need to pass the next 2 levels. My 2 younger sisters are in charge of these 2 levels and 2 trials, I wish you good luck. Voice fell, and the figure of Tien Shinshinheim disappeared into the thick fog. See you. Shiyu didn't stop here, and continued to walk. The direction in which Tokiyu walked slowly was the deep temple in Raichi Cave. The 3 sisters hiding in the mist were extremely surprised. That kid named open black lens bracket Takagawa Takiwa close black lens bracket doesn't know where the deep temple of open black lens bracket Raichi Cave close black lens bracket is. Open black lens bracket Ikijima Heim close black lens bracket road. Impossible. In this foggy formation, it is impossible to see the outside scene, unless he has already mastered sage art. After hearing the words of open black lens bracket Tien Shinshinheim close black lens bracket, open black lens bracket Tangenheim close black lens bracket said it. People who come here are all looking for the power of sage art. I guess it should be a coincidence. In this regard, Aikikishimaheim and Tan Shinshinheim also nodded. Apart from that, they can't think of other possibilities. This foggy formation is integrated into sage art chakra, and even with a special pupil art, it cannot be completely seen through. And if the tester wants to break through this foggy formation, he must possess both abilities at the same time. This is also the reason why they agreed that Tokiha was a coincidence. But they never thought that Tokiha was really a master power of sage art. After some discussion, Aikikishimaheim also said, "Elder sister, second sister. It's my turn." Voice fell, her petite figure disappeared into the mist. Disappeared in the field of vision of open black lens bracket Tan Shinshinheim close black lens bracket and open black lens bracket Tangenheim close black lens bracket, and when he reappeared, he was already around Tokyo. After she floated around Shiyu a few times, she stopped at Shiyu's side. The latter's costumes and outfits are the same as the previous Tan Shinshinheim, but the appearance is quite different. The open black lens bracket Tan Shinshinheim close black lens bracket is a mature and beautiful woman, and the open black lens bracket Aikikishimaheim close black lens bracket in front of you is a lovely loli type. The two are completely different types. Looking at Tokyo up close, the loli-like voice of Aikikishimaheim also rang out. "My name is Aikijimaheim, and I'm the person in charge of this second trial." "Oh." Shiyu let out a soft sound, and then said, "Sister Shimaheim, I don't know what the trial of the second level is." As soon as Shiyu said this, Aikijimaheim was stunned on the spot. Even Tien Shinshinheim and Tangenheim, who were observing secretly, were dumbfounded. The reason for their sluggishness was not other than Shiyu. "My name. Open black lens bracket Aikikishimaheim close black lens bracket I don't know how many thousands of years I have lived, but Tokyo is called his younger sister. I have to say, this hand operation is amazing." Chapter 295-Cave Escape. "What do you want to do to me?" "Sister Shimaheim, I don't know what the trial of the second level is." Hearing Shiyu's words, Aikijimaheim was stunned for a long time, then came back to his senses. "What do you call me?" "Sister Shimaheim." Shiyu responded with a sound, and then said, "You look so young, cute and charming, a real boy-like giant. Anyway, in our world this type of person is called loli. And we call these types of people their sisters to show that we like them." "Ah." Hearing this, open black lens bracket Aikikishimaheim close black lens bracket was stunned for a moment, and couldn't help but ask. "What you said is true. That's natural. With your appearance and body, it's hard to find someone comparable to you in our world. I don't say there is no one in 10,000, but it is definitely one in 100. Although Shiyu was talking nonsense in a serious manner, if he examined it carefully, it was actually the case. Hearing Tokiha's words, open black lens bracket Aikikishimaheim close black lens bracket was in a good mood. Even though she has lived for thousands of years, there is not no one who praises her in these long years, but there has never been one like Shiyu's. Because of this, the trace of anger in her eyes also quietly dissipated. Heim and Tangenheim, who were observing in the dark, were also stunned. They obviously didn't expect Shiyu to dissolve their sister's anger so easily. "Miss. You stay at the first level and have the most contact with humans. You say that what the kid said is true or false?" Tangenheim asked. "I don't know. The testers who come to pass the level are all lunatics seeking strength. How could they tell me this? Throughout the ages, there is only this young man in front of me." Between the words Tien Shinshinheim stared straight at Tokyo in the mist, and the young man in front of her became more and more interested in her. "This boy is really interesting, but I hope he can pass the second level of the little sister." "Second sister, do you think this young man seems to be different from the previous testers?" Tangenheim nodded, and then said, "From the beginning to the end, there was no trace of fear on his face, and even a little confusion never appeared. Don't say he's still a teenager." Those old guys with a lot of experience in the past couldn't be as calm as him. That's why he gave me an unfathomable feeling. Tien Shinshinheim replied. After the conversation, both fell into silence. At this moment, a premonition appeared in the hearts of the two great snakes, Heim. In their opinion, Shiyu is very likely to pass the trial. At the same time, in the fog, Shiyu's voice sounded again. Sister Shima Heim, can you tell me the trial content of this second level now? Hearing the name Tokiyu, at this time open black lens bracket Ikiji Shima Heim close black lens bracket was not only not angry, on the contrary, he was enjoying it very much. I saw a smile on her face, revealing a mouthful of snow. Come with me. As the voice of open black lens bracket Ikikishima Heim close black lens bracket fell, he followed. After a while, open black lens bracket Ikijima Heim close black lens bracket he brought Shiyu to a cave, and then the entrance of the cave was suddenly blocked by a stone gate. Boom! If it weren't for the dark blue fires adorning the cave, I'm afraid it would have been dark by now. And at the moment Shimon fell, Shiyu was still unusually calm. This result made Ikijima Heim very surprised. Because every tester in the past would be flustered when faced with this sudden situation. Stand in the same place with a calm expression like Shiyu is now, and ask incomparably calm. Sister Island Heim. You sealed up this hole, wouldn't you be trying to do something bad to me? Or say I have failed, you are going to devour me. Open black lens bracket Ikikishima Heim close black lens bracket was slightly alone, and immediately floated to Shiyu, followed by a soft voice. The second trial is only starting now. Also, even if you fail the next trial, I won't devour you. This time it was Tokiyu's turn to wonder. He didn't know what kind of wishful thinking was going on in his heart. Hee, I will keep you by my side. Shiyu was stunned. He didn't expect Ikijima Heim to have such an idea. That's why Shiyu couldn't help but think. Could it be that he is too good? Even the snake Heim, who has lived for thousands of years, is attracted to him. Not only them, but Tien Shinshin Heim and Tanjin Heim are also dumbfounded. They obviously did not expect that their little sister would have such an idea, which had never happened before. Sister, I just said that this young man is not easy. Yeah, the previous remarks actually made the little sister interested in him. Between the two big snakes, Heim, Ikijima Heim brought Tokiyu to a stone gate in front of him. Immediately after, she pointed to the stone door and said, this stone gate is the only way to the deep monastery of Ryachi Cave. As long as you can pass through it in an hour, you will pass the customs. 1 hour. Shiyu muttered. Yes. Ikijima Heim nodded, and then said, if you can't leave here within an hour, it means that the trial has failed. If you do, you will be swallowed by me. However, as I said earlier, if you fail the trial, I will keep you by my side. So, compared to other testers, your advantage doesn't have to die. Of open black lens bracket Ikikishima Heim close black lens bracket, Tokiyu asked involuntarily. Sister Shima Heim, is there a time limit for each level? Not bad. Before, the reason why my eldest sister gave you a massage was because if you haven't eaten the food she transformed into after an hour, it means you have passed the test. As for me, it's the other way around. If you can't leave here within an hour, it's a failure. Hearing this, Shiyu's eyes turned to this stone gate. It was found that there are tiny holes on the stone gate, and the holes are very regular. As if to embed something. Moreover, Shiyu was still there. A pile of colorful Madara stones were found on the ground. Each piece is different in size and status. If nothing else, they were used to fill the hole above this stone door. Seeing this, Ikijima Heim said. It seems that you thought you had discovered the secret of this stone gate. Yes, as long as all the holes above the stone gate are filled, the stone gate will automatically open. Sister Island Heim, there are so many stones on the ground. It's not easy to find 99 stones that fit the grooves of the holes in 1 hour. If not, How could this be called a trial? Aikikishima chuckled lightly, his voice sounded like a silver bell. In fact, Shiyu knew that this trial was not easy, because it was not as simple as finding 99 stones that were the same as the grooves of shimon from the stones all over the ground within an hour. The reason is that the groove-shaped stones on the stone gate need to be embedded, and some of the stones on the ground do not exist. You need to separate some of the stones out of it. This kind of thing is something that most people can't think of at all. If it is not calm enough, and time is limited, it is difficult for even the smartest person to think of this. This is the difficulty of the trial of open black lens bracket Raichi cave close black lens bracket. However, Shiyu obviously will not stick to the rules like this. Shikishima said, just leave here within an hour, and he didn't say that you must open the stone gate. Therefore, Shiyu has a strategy in mind for a long time. Chapter 296 The Power of Sage Art. Kamui, different space. After having a countermeasure in his heart, Shiyu opened his mouth and said, Sister Shima, as long as I get out of here within an hour, right? Nice. Shikishima affirmed, and then said to Shiyu, remind you, you don't want to smash through this stone gate with brute force. Because that's basically impossible. Let's not mention that this stone gate is several meters thick, and besides, there is also the blessing of the power of sage art in this cave. If there is no master, sage art, it is almost impossible to destroy it. Power of sage art, although it is strong, as long as the tester has absolute strength, it can still be broken. This is also the reason why there is a slight leeway in the words of Aikikishima. Don't worry, little sister Shima, I don't want to force it with strength or ninjutsu. That's good. After all, it's just a waste of time. Aikikishima had just finished speaking, but Shiyu's next first sentence made her look startled. However, I have other options. Other ways. Open black lens bracket Aikijima close black lens bracket muttered, a pretty face full of doubts. In the next second, she suddenly thought of something. You don't want to use any opportunistic escape technique, right? If that's the case, I advise you to give up the idea. As I said before, even if you use special ninjutsu, if you don't have the power of master, sage art, you will still be blocked by the Great Formation. She has examined countless testers, and naturally some people have thought of all kinds of methods. For example, what is mud flow technique, water hydration technique, etc. Name suggests that mud flow technique can melt the body into the mud. This kind of ninjutsu requires a very high level of accomplishment in Doden earth style, that is, it can pass through the ground. This ninjutsu, Orochimaru has used it. And the hydration technique can make oneself into water, and then pass through some small gaps. The 5 elements escape techniques are all in this way, even the blood stain boundary is similar to ninjutsu. However, these methods are all guarded by the big array here. No exceptions. Shiyu asked. Without exception. Open black lens bracket Aikijima close black lens bracket a firm and unequivocal way, the tone is full of unquestionable. What about time and space ninjutsu? Shiyu continued to ask. You know time and space ninjutsu. Aikikishima in the conversation was extremely shocked, because they really had a headache for this ninjutsu. Because once the trial fails, those who have mastered this kind of ninjutsu can escape with this method. It's not that such a thing has never happened. But throughout the ages, there are very few people who can master time and space ninjutsu. Moreover, even time and space ninjutsu may not be able to pass through this stone gate. Because when you use time and space ninjutsu, you have to leave a space mark in advance where you want to go. Otherwise, it is impossible to succeed. And it is impossible for people who come to Raichi Cave for the first time to do this, so they don't have to worry at all. Well, a little bit. Getting Tokiha's departure. Open black lens bracket Aikikishima close black lens bracket. S little face was full of surprise. She never thought that Tokiyu would master space ninjutsu. Not only her, but but also the Tan Shinshinheim and Tangenheim who were secretly peeping. However, there was a doubt in their hearts at this time. Shiyu was so young that he could really master such an unfathomable ninjutsu without being shocked, Aikijima Heim also said. General space ninjutsu is useless unless you. With advanced space ninjutsu, you can create a different space. This advanced space-time ninjutsu can appear anywhere at will, but if there is no space mark, there is no direction. But if it's just around, as long as your time and space ninjutsu is strong enough, it can still be estimated. From the perspective of open black lens bracket Aikikishima Heim close black lens bracket, it is uncertain whether Tokyo has master open black lens bracket space-time ninjutsu close black lens bracket. Not to mention the master high-level time and space ninjutsu. Furthermore, it is necessary to have extremely high attainments in this kind of ninjutsu. So, this is undoubtedly an extremely difficult thing. However, she never imagined that this kind of thing would not be difficult for Shiyu. Because Shiyu does have an advanced time and space ninjutsu, that is Kamui. Coupled with the blessing of Shiyu's million-fold talent, any of his ninjutsu accomplishments have reached a height that ordinary people can't imagine. Even without Kamui, Shiyu can create a high-level, time-space ninjutsu with his talent. The reason why there is only one type of master now is that Tokyo has to study it. Not to mention the ancestral space of Otsutsuki Kagaya, after all, it requires 3 major pupil techniques to construct. Shiyu relies on his own innate ability, which is enough to develop a kind of different time-space ninjutsu. There is no doubt about this. Second Hokage can create Hiraishin technique, and with his talent that surpasses Second Hokage, I don't know how many times, it is naturally easy to do. Alien space. Shiyu muttered, a smile appeared on his face. And Aikikishima Heim, when he saw the smile on Tokyo's face, for some reason, there was a vague foreboding in his heart. Why she couldn't help but ask. Shiyu, you don't want to tell me that you happen to have master time-space ninjutsu that builds a different dimension, right? Sister Island Heim. You're so smart, you actually guessed it. As soon as Shiyu said these words, Aikijima Heim was stunned in place. This result is something she never imagined. She has never seen the time and space ninjutsu that builds different dimensions in the hands of White Snake Immortal, and has never seen it in other human beings. Of course, just because she hasn't seen it doesn't mean she hasn't. After all, there are tens of thousands of Jonin people in the world, and not every master time and space ninjutsu person comes back to Raichi Cave to seek power. Like Obito, he didn't come. Of course, there are some reasons why even if he wanted to come, he might not be able to find it. Open black lens bracket Mount Myoboku close black lens bracket, open black lens bracket Raichi Cave close black lens bracket and open black lens bracket Shikatsu Forest close black lens bracket. These 3 holy places are located in the secret realm of this world. A small world. If there is no guidance, it is basically difficult for ordinary people to find it. Therefore, if you are unlucky, even if you find death, you may not be able to find the entrance to the 3 holy places. Luck is against the sky, you can find it with a few blind searches. Although Tokiyu's confirmation was obtained, Aikijima Heim still doesn't want to believe it. Because the 3 sisters sat down at the White Snake Immortal after studying for thousands of years, they still only learned a little bit of fur. Master to Grandmaster even with ordinary time and space ninjutsu, let alone build a different space. Because of this, the secret Tien Shinshinheim and Tangenheim are also full of doubts. Second sister, do you believe it? Anyway, I don't believe it. Tien Shinshinheim's voice just fell, and before Tangenheim could answer, the scene in front of them made them stunned. Seeing the power of Shiyu's standing, the space suddenly distorted. Next second, Shiyu disappeared from their sight out of thin air under their astonished eyes, as if it had never appeared before. Chapter 297 _ A Big Gamble. Senpo, Sage Art Katakana Middle. Charming Mood. Watching Shiyu disappear from his field of vision, Haim, the three major snakes, finally made sure of one thing. That is, Shiyu has indeed mastered time and space ninjutsu. Next second, the space behind the thick stone door was slightly distorted, and then, a figure was exposed to the air. Seeing this person, San Orochimaru was once again convinced of one thing. It turned out that Tokiha didn't speak, he indeed mastered the advanced art of different dimensions. His presence behind Shimon at this moment is the best proof. At this moment, Haim, the three major snakes, was completely stunned, standing in the same place for a long time, unable to regain his senses. This fact was obviously beyond their expectations. They never thought that Shiyu was only a 15 or 16-year-old boy who could actually master such advanced ninjutsu skills. And at this moment, the thoughtful Tanjin Haim found a clue. "Sister, look at that kid's eyes." "Eyes?" Tien Shinshinheim murmured, and then those beautiful eyes locked onto Shiyu's eyes. The next moment, her expression froze again. "That Yuhi-colored eyes are. You can't go wrong. Those Yuhi-colored eyes should be the legendary open black lens bracket Sharingan close black lens bracket." Tanjin responded with a sound, and then said, "Also, it should have been promoted to the second form. Open black lens bracket Mangekyo Sharingan close black lens bracket what?" Quote. Tien Shinshinheim said. I have fought against the strong Uchiha clan before, and I have seen similar eyes once or twice. However, as far as I know, if you want to awaken Mangekyo blood wheel eyes, genius can't do it, and you need unshakable will. The young man in front of him can awaken the second form of Sharingan at such an age, which is enough to see that his talent and mind are far beyond ordinary people. Tanjin who was speaking, was full of surprise, and so was Tien Shinshinheim, who heard her words. Of course. If you let them know that Shiyu's Sharingan has reached the third form, Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, it is estimated that they will be even more shocked. Open black lens bracket Tanjin close black lens bracket. Although he recognizes open black lens bracket Mangekyo Sharingan close black lens bracket, he does not know the existence of open black lens bracket Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan close black lens bracket. After all, there are very few Uchiha people who can reach this level. Not only do both brothers have to awaken Mangekyo Sharingan, but they also need to have strong obsession and will. Only a handful of people who meet the conditions. Otherwise, Black Zetsu has been planning for 1,000 years, and there will be no one who has succeeded, only Uchiha Madara. After the conversation between Tanjin and Tan Shinshinheim, Aikikishima, who was in charge of the second level, finally came back to his senses. With a wave of her sleeve robe, she immediately dispersed the great formation. Chi-chi-chi. With the constant sound of the heavy sound, the incomparably thick grooved stone door was slowly opened. Immediately after. Of open black lens bracket Aikijima close black lens bracket, looking at him with a smile. At this moment, open black lens bracket Aikikishima close black lens bracket is undoubtedly more and more interested in Tokiha as a human being. The Chushui snake's eyes slightly panned, thinking of something. At the same time, Shiyu's voice sounded slowly. "Sister Shima, this is a test for me to pass." Open black lens bracket Aikijima close black lens bracket slightly stunned, then said. "I didn't expect you to master advanced time and space ninjutsu, this time I'm unlucky. However, even if you are lucky enough to pass my level, there is a more difficult third level waiting for you. If you can't make it by then, my second sister doesn't know if she will be as kind as me and won't want to eat you." Open black lens bracket Aikikishima close black lens bracket, Shiyu smiled lightly. "Since you are so reluctant to let me be eaten, then you can tell me the content of this third level of trial." "Don't." Open black lens bracket Aikijima close black lens bracket Tsunere gave a sound, and then said, "Also, even if I think about it, I can't. This is the rule set by Lord White Snake Immortal, I can't." Disobedient. "However, if you are willing to stay and be my servant, I can consider asking the second sister for mercy. Forget it. In this world, I am the only one who accepts others as maids. After hearing the words, open black lens bracket Ikijima Heim close black lens bracket thought for a while, and then said. Otherwise, how about we make a bet? What to bet? Just bet if you can pass the third test. If you can't pass the third test, you can stay for me as a servant. What if I passed? The corners of Shiyu's mouth twitched between the words, apparently making a crooked idea. It's easy. If you pass, then I will be a maid for you. Open black lens bracket Ikikishima Heim close black lens bracket. As soon as these words came out, everyone was stunned. Heim and Tanjin Heim in secret, but Tokyo himself is no exception. Lowly Snake Heim in front of him would actually dare to gamble with him. Although the third level is difficult, it is not that no one has passed it since ancient times. And Shiyu was able to pass the first two levels easily. Presumably, this third level it shouldn't be too difficult for Shiyu. But why Ikijima Heim dared to say such a bet? Shiyu looked at the confident Ikijima Heim in front of him and wondered in his heart. It seems that this little girl must have something to do. Otherwise, how dare she be so fearless? While Shiyu was thinking about it, the voice of Ikikishima Heim sounded slowly. How about you, dare you not bet? In my Takagawa Tokiu's dictionary, there is no word dare. Hearing Tokiha's answer, open black lens bracket Ikikishima Heim close black lens bracket looked happy. This is undoubtedly the result she wants. Courageous enough, I really did not see you wrong. Keep going, and good luck. Voice fell, open black lens bracket Ikikishima Heim close black lens bracket disappeared like the previous open black lens bracket Tan Shinshin Heim close black lens bracket. In this regard, Shiyu is not at all surprised. This ability of theirs is somewhat similar to one of their master's bloodstain boundary, that is, transcendence. And when Tokyo continued to move forward, the three big snakes Heim reunited again. Seeing Ikijima Heim appear, Tien Shinshinheim immediately asked. Little sister. Are you crazy to make such a bet with humans? Yes. Tanjinheim echoed, and then said, although the third level one I'm in charge of is more difficult, I estimate that this final test of will be difficult to stop him. Open black lens bracket Tanjinheim close black lens bracket those who know that they can awaken open black lens bracket Mangekyo Sharingan close black lens bracket. Their willpower will not be so low. Elder sister, second sister. Since I dare to make this bet with him Shiyu, I am sure of winning, and my trump card is that. Open black lens bracket the charming mood close black lens bracket. After these four words were spit out from the mouth of open black lens bracket Ikikishima Heim close black lens bracket, open black lens bracket Tien Shinshinheim close black lens bracket and open black lens bracket Tanjinheim close black lens bracket looked suddenly startled. Needless to say, they obviously did not expect Ikijima Heim to use this method. Open black lens bracket Senpo, Sage Art close black lens bracket is a kind of open black lens bracket Sage Art close black lens bracket created by open black lens bracket White Snake Immortal close black lens bracket. The strength of this open black lens bracket Sage Art close black lens bracket is that it is open black lens bracket Demonic Illusion close black lens bracket and open black lens bracket Time Space Ninjutsu close black lens bracket combination. It can make practitioners in a different space constantly endure the spiritual attacks given by ghosts and ghosts. These open black lens bracket Kai Wang Liang close black lens bracket may be your friends, relatives, partners, etc. They will both instill negative emotions in you and even attack you. And because you are in a different space, you can't use everything in reality to decipher this demonic illusion. It's almost impossible to stay in it for an hour. To unlock this Sage Art, there are currently only two ways. First, to endure those sages and monsters. The mental attack. Second, being tortured and fainted in this different space, and even death. But when facing this technique, Shiyu may have a third way. To see the underlined version of the novel. Chapter 297 _ A Big Gamble. Senpo, Sage Art Katakana Middle. Charming Mood. Draft. Summer Reading 1010 Music. Charge 100 and get 500 coupons. Immediate top-up event time. August 7th to August 9th. Chapter 298 _ Snakeheim Maid. Sister Royal, Sunjinheim. After some astonishment, Tien Shinshinheim was the first to break the silence and asked with confirmation. Little sister, you are serious? The bet is set, I can still joke, do you really want to see me as a maid for that human boy? Open black lens bracket Ikijima Heim close black lens bracket road. But little girl, then the charming state of mind requires the three of us to join forces to display it. Also, this move has broken the rules of the trial. After hearing the words of Tanjinheim, Ikikishimaheim said it. It was his own consent. As long as we leave him alone, even if the White Snake Immortal will be held accountable, it will only be a few lessons at most. Two sisters, you must help the little sister. Seeing Tien Shinshinheim and Tanjinheim silent, Ikikishimaheim added a sentence. Aren't you interested in that human boy? If you guys help me keep him, then my sister and I can share it with the two sisters. Originally still, Tien Shinshinheim and Tanjinheim, who were deliberating, heard the words of Ikikishimaheim, and the two pairs of snake eyes flashed a flash of light instantly. To be honest, the two of them did become interested in Shiyu. Now that they can take this opportunity to study it thoroughly, they naturally don't want to miss this opportunity. After some weighing, Tien Shinshinheim said. Okay then. However, little sister, after things are done, you can't enjoy the results alone. Two sisters, don't worry. Hint of cunning in the eyes of Ikikishimaheim, in the words, and a look of excitement appeared on his face. Looking at Shiyu, who was heading towards the depths of open black lens bracket Raichi cave close black lens bracket, as if she had seen Shiyu become her maid. Scene. Okay, second lady. Hurry up and play, we will cooperate with you later. Hem. Seeing Tanjinheim nodding, Tien Shinshinheim reminded him. That's right, second sister. That kid is slick, don't follow his way like the little sister. Ah. Tanjinheim, who heard the words, was stunned for a moment, and then said, I see. Voice fell, and her figure disappeared in place. When she reappeared, she was already in front of Shiyu. Looking at the brown-haired woman in white clothes fluttering in front of her, Shiyu could already confirm her identity. Open black lens bracket Raichi cave close black lens bracket one of the three major snakes Heim, Yuji open black lens bracket Tanjinheim close black lens bracket. Seeing this, Shiyu also asked politely. I don't know what to call this sister. My name is Tanjinheim, and I'm the person in charge of the third trial. After responding to Shiyu, Tanjinheim continued. I didn't expect you to pass the test of my eldest and younger sisters, it's really not easy. The next thing I want to test is your heart. Of course, if you fail, you will still be eaten by me. Are you ready? It turned out to be Miss Jinheim. Hearing Shiyu's words, Tanjinheim said, Young man, that slick tone is useless to me. She had already seen her eldest sister and younger sister being told by Shiyu's slick tongues, and they were secretly smug. So, she didn't want to give Shiyu this chance. However, Shiyu's next sentence still aroused her interest. I said Miss Jinheim, don't you want to know why the suffix of calling you is Miss Sister, not Sister? Isn't that why I'm younger than the eldest sister? According to open black lens bracket Tanjinheim close black lens bracket, Shiyu called his elder sister open black lens bracket Tien Shinshinheim close black lens bracket as Godheim sister. And she is smaller than Tien Shinshinheim. Shiyu should be in order to distinguish it, so I added a small character in front of it. It's not O. No. Tanjinheim was stunned for a moment, and asked subconsciously, what's the reason? And when she said these words, she undoubtedly hit Shiyu's arms. Originally, she didn't want to give Shiyu a chance to talk, but Naihi still followed Shiyu's words and fell into the trap set in advance by Shiyu. The reason why I call you Miss Sister is because your beauty is different from your other two sisters. For example, your eldest sister Tien Shinshinheim, her beauty belongs to mature beauty, and your younger sister Aikijima Heim, her beauty belongs to fresh beauty. And you are different from both of them. Your beauty belongs to the beauty of temperament. This kind of beauty also has a name in our world, called Yuji. Mistress. Hearing Tanjinheim muttering, Shiyu continued. Not bad. For this type of woman, we will call her Miss Sister. If the other party is younger than you, the word small can avoid embarrassment. If the other party is older than you, small can make her feel younger. After hearing Tokiyu's explanation, Tanjinheim finally came to a realization. Heim, who was observing in the dark, patted his forehead involuntarily when he saw this. Alas. It's a pity that I specifically told you just now, but I didn't expect the second sister to follow that kid's way. After hearing the sigh of open black lens bracket Tan Shinshinheim close black lens bracket, open black lens bracket Aikikishima Heim close black lens bracket said. I said eldest sister, this just shows that his Shiyu is not simple. Between the words, her interest in Shiyu became stronger and stronger, and she couldn't wait to see Shiyu become her maid. At this time, Tanjinheim felt very comfortable. She didn't expect to be so happy to be praised, a feeling she had never experienced in thousands of years. Okay, that's the end of the conversation. Then start the test of the third level. Words of Tanjinheim, Shiyu asked. Miss Jinheim, I don't know that this so-called test is about willpower. You are indeed very smart. I only revealed a little bit of information earlier, you guessed it. Tanjinheim, who was speaking, had a surprised look on his face. Thank you Miss Jinheim for letting me know. When did I tell you? I only asked tentatively, but you admitted it, didn't you tell me on purpose? Hearing Tokiyu's words, Tanjinheim was stunned again. A pair of beautiful eyes stared straight at Shiyu, not knowing what to say for a while. After a while, her slightly domineering voice also sounded. What if you know the test questions? If you want to pass the third test, you must have the consciousness of death. Come on, I'm ready. Hearing Tokiyu's still calm answer, Tanjinheim finally stopped talking nonsense. I saw that she glanced at a place in the darkness intentionally or unintentionally, and then a certain seal suddenly formed in her hand. Seeing this, the hidden Tan Shinshinheim and Aikikishimaheim are also hand seals at the same time. For this scene, Shiyu can be said to have a panoramic view. The master has two kinds of pupil art and also knows sage art chakra, like the back of the hand, and every move of the three of them is under Shiyu's control. Aware of this, Shiyu muttered to himself in his heart. It's not what I expected. However, since you guys want to play, I'll accompany you to the end. A snake Heim made, hee. Chapter 299 _ Ghostly Mythical Creature. Soul Eater. After the three snakes Heim joined forces to display Senpo, sage art, the space around Shiyu began to distort. Next second, Shiyu came to a dimly lit space with boundless light. There is no sunlight, no lights, and no moonlight here. It's pitch black, and there's no end in sight. Seeing that he was in an unfamiliar space, Shiyu didn't panic at all. And in this space, in addition to him, there are three threes. They are the three major snakes who use magic, Heim, and the different space of this charming state of mind was broken by the three 3s together. There are different dimensions in the world, and the different dimension where Shiyu is now is just one of them. This different space is not the same as open black lens bracket Kamui different space close black lens bracket. Just like the different spaces that open black lens bracket Otsutsuki Kagaya close black lens bracket has, they are all different. The only difference is that open black lens bracket Otsutsuki Kagaya close black lens bracket has made a simple transformation to the different spaces he discovered, so that each space has its own characteristics. But in addition to these, there are still some unrecognized different spaces in this world. Death, of the dead ghosts. The different space in which it is located. After death, the soul. A different dimension to go to. There is also the spiritual body, of 6 paths immortal. The different space they are in. Although the 3 big Snakesheim are all in this different space, except for Sunjenheim who is in front of them, the other 2 are still hiding in the dark. No way. They had to come in, because this other dimension could only be opened by gathering the strength of the 3 of them. If they want to observe Shiyu, they must come in. Shiyu glanced around, stopped for a moment in one direction, and then withdrew his gaze. Noticing this scene, Aikikishimaheim said involuntarily. "Miss, did that guy find us?" "Can't put." Tien Shinshinheim replied uncertainly, and then said, "Our breath is so restrained and integrated with nature, it should be difficult for him to find us. However, the second sister told me just now that this little devil master has the Sharingan, one of the legendary 3-pupil techniques. Moreover, it has reached the second form, Mangekyo Sharingan. It is not impossible for him to find us. Because even if we are at one with nature, Sage Art Chakra is too dense, and suspicion is inevitable. But what if he finds out about us?" "Well, that's what I said." Open black lens bracket Aikijimaheim close black lens bracket stunned for a while, then tapped the head. Tien Shinshinheim, that's right. Shiyu noticed that it was no big deal for the 2 of them to observe in the dark. But also because of this, let their hearts be filled with consternation. They have been in charge of the trials for so many years, and this is the first time they have been secretly spied on. And in the midst of their astonishment, Shiyu's voice sounded slowly. "Miss Jinheim. Didn't you say you wanted to test my heart? Why did you bring me into a different dimension? You're the weirdest, or most confident person I've ever met." Tangenheim gave a reply and continued. "Others are worried that the trial will come slowly, but you are better, you can't wait so much. Hey. I don't want to end the trial early, and then go to see the White Snake Immortal." Shiyu smiled and said. "If that's the case, then that's what I want." The Tangenheim that fell down is not talking nonsense, and the hand-printed style is displayed again, directly displaying the demonic illusion contained in this demon state of mind. Open black lens bracket demonic ghostly creatures close black lens bracket. After the demonic illusion in this open black lens bracket demonic state of mind different space close black lens bracket was unblocked with open black lens bracket Tangenheim close black lens bracket. The originally dim world changed drastically in an instant, turning into a Senra hell. At this moment, Shiyu was in the center of this Senra hell, surrounded by undead, and the charms were everywhere. Some of them are the souls of those who died, and some of them are people Shiyu knew. But whether they are enemies or relatives and friends, they are all powerful spiritual attacks on Shiyu at this moment. They first tried to disturb Shiyu's mood with words, but the effect was not great. No matter how they abused him, Shiyu was like a mountain in this Senluo hell. No matter the wind or the rain, he stands still. Time goes by every minute and second, but Shiyu still stands like a stone Jinchuriki column in Senra's hell. Seeing this scene, the 3 big Snakesheim had to admire Shiyu's concentration and heart. Although the tester knows that this is an illusion, it is a test of a person's mind. But even if he knew how, the pressure on his mind was inevitable. However, from the beginning to the end, there was no wavering on Shiyu's face, as if all the words in this world could not shake his heart. It seems that he has lived 15 or 16 years, and there is nothing that can touch his heart. But it's not. Because even if a person is kingming, there will always be unsatisfactory things. Even a monk, there are times when the 6 stocks are impure, not to mention Shiyu as a transmigrator. Even if it didn't exist in this world, it must have existed before the time traveled. And the reason why Shiyu was not affected at all at this moment was because he was not under the control of such demonic illusion at all. It is better to say that he is feeling and learning this open black lens bracket senpo, sage art close black lens bracket rather than saying that he is trapped in this open black lens bracket senpo, sage art close black lens bracket. Haim, the three big snakes who don't know the reason, is in a hurry. If it continues like this, the situation will obviously be unfavorable for them. After thinking about this, open black lens bracket tangent Haim close black lens bracket in hand changed again. Since you can't speak, let's do it directly. As her voice fell, she saw that the dead souls and spirit bodies began to attack Shiyu's sea of spiritual consciousness. This is the strongest place of despicable ghosts, dead soul eater. Once the testers can't survive, they will die. Because now this is not just a trial, but a gamble. Win now, they will have a mysterious and interesting maid. If they lose, Aikijima Haim will make the latter a maid. It's about their little sister's life, and Tangenheim naturally doesn't dare to slack off. However, Tangenheim should have stopped when Tokyo was on the verge of death. Who controls the demon and mythical creature, has no problem if she wants to keep Shiyu alive. But unfortunately, she won't have this chance. Because with Tokiu's strength, even if she falls into this open black lens bracket senpo, sage art demonic illusion close black lens bracket, she will not be in any danger. The reason why he is still here is to take this opportunity to make demonic illusion senpo, sage art, a master. Watching the many dead souls and spirits slaughtering towards Shiyu, Tangenheim also whispered in his mouth. I see how you can withstand such mental stress. However, just as her voice fell, those dead souls and spirit bodies were about to touch Shiyu's body, a strange scene happened. Saw the dead souls and spirit bodies that were slaughtered in the air, but what shocked them the most was the next scene. Because those dead souls and spirits actually started to crawl under Shiyu's feet, as if they were kneeling their emperor. This scene is too unbelievable. Chapter 300 control is taken. The final resistance. Seeing that all the undead were bowing to Shiyu and surrendering, the three snakes, Haim, were stunned. The current situation is completely beyond their imagination. If it was an ordinary illusion, it would be defeated, but this evil state of mind is a sage art that the three of them can use together. Logically, this is unlikely to happen. But now it happened. There are only two things that can explain this phenomenon. First, the caster did it on purpose. Second, someone outside interfered with demonic illusion, or this demonic illusion was highly accomplished by demonic illusion as controlled. The second possibility is basically trivial, because only one person can do it. That's the creator of this open black lens bracket senpo, sage art demonic illusion close black lens bracket, open black lens bracket white snake immortal close black lens bracket. But the problem is that there is no one else in the different space of this open black lens bracket Kaijie Huguan close black lens bracket except for the four of them 44. Therefore, it seems that Tien Shinshinheim and Aikijishimaheim, observed in the dark, the second possibility can basically be ruled out. But in the eyes of the casters Tangenheim, it can only be the second possibility. What the hell is going on? Tangenheim, the reason why she exclaimed was because she, as the caster, didn't do it on purpose. She originally wanted to try to control the undead, but found that she had lost control of them. To be more precise, she has lost control of this illusion. It is for this reason that her expression is extremely surprised. White Snake Immortal obviously did not show up, but now this demonic illusion is in such a situation. Even after living for 1,000 years, it is still difficult to hide the shock in her heart. When she was at a loss, the hidden Tan Shinshinheim and Aikijimaheim appeared. Second sister, what's the situation? Second sister, don't you want to trick me? Because the illusion of this evil ghost and mythical creature is controlled by Tangenheim, the two of them are just on the sidelines. Therefore, at this moment, they have not realized the seriousness of the matter. At this moment, the most anxious is undoubtedly Aikijishimaheim. If this continues, then she will lose. Second sister, hurry up and fuck him, stop playing. Hearing Aikijishimaheim's urging, Tangenheim finally came to his senses, but her answer made Tien Shinshinheim and Aikikishimaheim dumbfounded. I don't want that either. Coco is out of my control now. What did you say? The illusion is not under your control. Open black lens bracket Tan Shinshinheim close black lens bracket a confirmatory question. Second sister, don't let us make such a joke. Shijishimaheim echoed, and then said, this demon and ghostly creature is only learned by you, except for the Lord White Snake Immortal. Although this demonic illusion can only be opened by gathering the power of the three of them, this demonic illusion is only known by Tangenheim. Reason is very simple, the latter's demonic illusion talent is the most outstanding. This is why she is responsible for the most difficult levels of the trial. Now there are only 4 of them here, which is why Aikikishima thinks Tangenheim is joking. Because she and Tien Shinshinheim obviously couldn't do this, and as for Shiyu, they were directly ignored by them. Because this is undoubtedly the least probable. How could a young man who mastered advanced time and space ninjutsu, at the age of 15 or 16 also possess super demonic illusion at the same time? Moreover, it's still open black lens bracket senpo, sage art demonic illusion close black lens bracket. Besides, the only people in the world who can do this demonic illusion are open black lens bracket Tangenheim close black lens bracket and open black lens bracket White Snake Immortal close black lens bracket. Therefore, they subconsciously ruled out this possibility. The next sentence of Tangenheim changed the expression of Aikikishimaheim, who was originally smiling. Third sister, I didn't. I was joking with you. I really lost control of the illusion, and I feel like there is a stronger force operating it. Tien Shinshinheim and Aikikishimaheim, who heard the words, looked at Tangenheim's serious face, and both gasped. Because they knew that the former's expression was no joke. As sisters, they are naturally very aware of their own temperaments. But apart from the 4 of us, there is no one else here. My little sister and I can rule it out, but since it's not the second sister to do this, then there is only one left. Having said this, Tien Shinshinheim's gaze couldn't help but fall on Tokiyu, who was worshipped by the undead in front of him. For a while, he stopped talking. Because of this possibility, it seemed too unbelievable to her. Seeing this, Aikikishimaheim took over. Eldest sister, don't you mean to say that this despicable ghostly creature is controlled by that guy, right? Aikikishimaheim just finished speaking, and before Tien Shinshinheim could answer, Tangenheim said it. If nothing else, this is the best explanation. Otherwise, why would those undead just kneel and bow down to him? Hearing Tangenheim, Tan Shinshinheim, and Aikikishimaheim also nodded subconsciously. Because this explanation is indeed very logical, but whether it is consistent or not, there are still some places they don't understand. But second sister, if you want to control your demonic ghost in addition to surpassing you in demonic illusion, you must also be a grandmaster of this technique. And most importantly, you must learn open black lens bracket sage art close black lens bracket. If it's really that, the guy named Shiyu controls your demonic illusion, has he learned to make sage art chakra? Aikijimaheim were very reasonable, causing Tangenheim and Tien Shinshinheim to fall into contemplation. Toshiba Grandmaster, perhaps there is a similar demonic illusion in the world. But the problem is that sage art is sage art, and it is impossible to control it without sage art chakra. This matter will be discussed later. What we have to do now is to take back the control of the illusion. Otherwise, we will lose. Tangenheim, Tan Shinshinheim, and Aikikishimaheim also nodded their heads. Being beaten by Shiyu is a small matter, but if you lose the bet, it will be a big deal. Guardians of the Ryachi Cave, one of the 3 dignified holy places, or a nearly 1,000-year-old existence, was going to be a servant for a 15 or 16-year-old human boy. If this matter spreads out, it will definitely make the other 2 holy places ridiculed. I am afraid that even those ordinary psychic beasts will laugh at Kiba because of this. If it is a psychic beast, it does not matter. After all, the relationship between the master and the servant who signed the contract is not necessarily the same, but as a maid, it is completely different. Put it simply, Tokiyu is the owner of open black lens bracket Ikijima Heim close black lens bracket. After the three people's thoughts flashed in their hearts, open black lens bracket Tien Shinshinheim close black lens bracket as the eldest sister was the first to break the silence. Second sister, what should I do? You too will instill the sage art chakra in me. Only in this way will it be possible to regain control of the sage art. After hearing the words, open black lens bracket Tien Shinshinheim close black lens bracket and open black lens bracket Ikikishima Heim close black lens bracket did not have any unnecessary nonsense, and acted directly. I saw that the two of them's jade hands quickly pressed on the body of Tanjinheim, and a powerful force suddenly burst out. At this moment, the battle for the control of the ghost and mythical creatures begins. There are three things to do when reading.